Not the enemy, but who's the enemy?
Enemy, 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 enemy.
Oh, la la la, la 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 la. I'm an educator. Your historian, the unpaid advisor to government and opposition. I bring you songs of levity, party and social commentary. In other lands, I am a cultural icon, but due to my proclivity to expose the ills of my country, they designate me an enemy of the state. But it's my love for country that make me question the things I see going wrong. Like the crime rate that keep on going up, that the PM says going down. Is he take a corrupt tip-off cop and made him the deputy? Between he and Edme, the police force can function effectively. Police used to work for 8 hours straight and went home to take a rest. Now this 4 hours on, 4 hours off, got the force in a mess. Is you who handcuff the police? Now they can't control the crime rate. So don't call me an enemy of the state. Anyone who critique your policies, you want their head on a plate. So tell me who's the real enemy of the state. I'm not the enemy, but you're the enemy. Who's the enemy? Tell me. I'm not the enemy, are you the enemy? Who's the enemy? They tell me tourism is the lifeblood of the country. Still we keep increasing the budget to that ministry. But the more we spend on that industry, is the less result we do see. Now the whole country, it seems, waiting desperately till Marriott open its doors. 40,000 plus on pause. Can one hotel save us from catching hell? Oh well, what is my love for country that made me question the deal they gave Royal P? A $400 million hotel with their own electricity. If we upgraded we power plant, they would buy the current from we. $20 million or more yearly to sweeten the treasury. Then they tell me both are resigning, he not taking another turn. I said a jump and prance as a good riddance, for there's hope for tourism. His performance in that industry got hoteliers desperate, yet he treats me like an enemy of the state. From 500 ships in 95, now 158. So tell me who's the real enemy of the state?
Enemy.
Are you the enemy? I'm not the enemy. Who's the enemy? Are you the enemy?
Enemy.
Minister of Justice, oh, can you tell me why Angela Innes is not paid what the courts decree? When she was making her contributions, you were nowhere to be found. Now she's grunting while you're buying up condominium. You also got Consummate Chum, a first female parliamentarian, still can't get her gratuity and pension. But it's my love for country that make me question this bold-faced hypocrisy. Your actions are simply degrading the women of this country. I hope that Jess and Henry Martin don't support your policy. But what goes around come back around, no matter whom you may be. These women serve with distinction and should get their due respect. Not scandalize and victimize. To this action I object. Your actions, Mr. AG, means all women must subjugate. And that it means you eating from the same plate. So tell me who's the real enemy of the state? Oh, watch me now. I'm not the enemy. Are you the enemy? Who's the enemy? I'm not the enemy. Who is the enemy? Tell me. Almost every weekend is party, party, party. Soon we'll start the campaigning with berries and Byron Lee, while the bell tolling at SSMC and tourism catching hell. One night at JN Fast costing more than a hotel. Then IMF tell Douglas Plain he must raise taxes again. So who got cocoa in sun? Look out for rain. Yes, it's my love for country that made me question the state of the economy. We could well use the 36 million you spent on inquiry, and yet you take up the best golf course and sell out to Royal P. But I was not in favor of that one, and with him I must agree. You are the leader of this country, but to lead effectively, you must listen to suggestions from Calypsonian like me. If I'm the only one in the country to pinpoint your mistake, does that make me an enemy of the state? Sandra Byron no longer boos me, cause she knows I don't deal with hate. So maybe you're the real enemy of the state. The Jew is out on you. And you know what? You ain't come to the circus as yet. We're still waiting. Are you the enemy? Who's the enemy?
Yeah, Sounds of the King Socrates. That one is called Enemy of the State. I'm Morrishaw, and I'm coming to you live and direct from my bunker. Not my bunker, actually, the Gaza, right here in the Boogie Down Bronx. Yes, I'm in the Boogie Down Bronx at the moment, coming to you live and direct from here at the Gaza in the Bronx. It's very cool on this end, very chilly. You know, it's pre-Thanksgiving, getting ready to get the folks organized here in the New York area. This evening, I'm going to have my guest joining me shortly, the gentleman by the name of Brother Carlisle Powell, you know, from the Tell Me program there and Queen City Nevis, our sister island. He'll be joining me shortly, but while Carlisle getting himself together, I'm going to drop the commentary from G.A. Dwyer Astafan as Carlisle get himself together. So, folks, we're going to be talking the things. A lot is happening in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. A lot of breaking news transpired over the past couple days. From last Wednesday to now, a lot have happened. We heard about the MSR media situation there. They said, who got cocoa in sun, look out for rain. You also hear, who in here with the gun, is say, salt, lime, and pepper there. So, as I get ready to get into the things then, I wanted to catch up Brother Carlisle early o'clock before we get into anything else, because I know that Carlisle has another engagement. But since Carlisle is not ready to roll, or it looks like he's ready to roll. Carlisle, are you there? Tap your screen, open your mic. Your video is up. Tap your screen, open your mic there, Carlisle.
Good evening, DJ Morrishaw. Good evening to all your viewers and listeners. Yes, I'm with you. How are you doing?
Man, I'm happy to see your face on the screen. It's been some time trying to get you here. I heard that you had the Marcus flu. But good to see that you're in good shape and you're back. Good to have you. I'm having you here this evening into capacity. I know you're the elected chairman of the NRP, the Nevis Reformation Party there in Nevis, and you're also the host of Tell Me. So don't let me tell the people about you. You tell the people about yourself. Welcome to the DJ Morrishaw platform.
Thank you very much, DJ. And I tell you what, not just the flu, but I am a member of Domino College, and we do lectures on a Wednesday night and on a Sunday night. So that has kept me away from being on your program too often. But at least I can do the first hour tonight. I'm just an ordinary fellow from Zion who has made a couple of small strides in life. I'm the chairman of the Nevis Reformation Party. And on the political front, At one time, I was the minister responsible for communications, works, public utilities, postal services, the environment, and so on. And before that, I was an airport manager for 20 years. And so I've done a few things in my life.
Well, that's good. And I know you're an avid cricketer or cricket administrator in some way. All right. So this evening, Brother Carlisle, what I want us to do is to touch the geothermal situation there, because I think you would have a better understanding than myself, or even Dr. Daly, the fact that you were part of the NIA at some time during this period. I had the opportunity to listen to Parliament there on Monday. And, you know, I'm going to jump right in the meat of the matter. To my surprise, some of the things I'm hearing coming out of the Premier's mouth in regards to his support for geothermal. It's good that he have a revelation, and I hope what he's saying can come to fruition. But I know he was one of the people that was knocking the geothermal and talking about earthquake and tremors and this kind of stuff. So we can do it either way. We can drop what he said on Monday in Parliament, or you can give a background and your experience with the process of geothermal and the fight down that you guys was getting as the NRP.
Let me take you way back, DJ Morrishaw. We got into office in 2006. NRP won the elections in June. 3 weeks later, Premier Parry asked me to join his cabinet as a junior minister with the responsibilities I listed above. One of the first things I did was to start reading to see where we were in terms of energy, renewable energy. And I came upon a study that was done by the OAS back in and published in 2004. One of the persons whose name was on the cover sheet of that study was Mark Brantley. I immediately contacted him and asked him for a full copy of the study, which he provided, but some matters had been highlighted, and so I couldn't read them. They were blacked out. I eventually got a copy from another source. It identified the islands which had good potential for geothermal, and Nevis was listed among those, along with Dominica, of course. Now, what surprised me in that in my further reading in cabinet, I came upon a letter which was written by Van Samry, who was the premier before Joseph Parry, to Mr. A. Michael Perkins, who was a minister responsible for geothermal. And in that letter, Vance Amry was asking his minister to please update the cabinet on geothermal, as they had been kept in the dark. Now, we recognized that geothermal was something which had tremendous potential for St. Kitts and Nevis and the wider Caribbean. So we started exploring, and we invited people to come in because we were broke. No question about that. And so we decided that the best way for us to go was to get an investor that would come in and that would use all of their own funds, not requiring any funds from the NIA and not requiring a guarantee from the federal government. I'm making all of that clear because everybody by now would be aware that we attracted West Indies Power Limited, who did 3 slim hole exploratory wells: Spring Hill, Jessops, and Hamilton. During the course of those drillings, the CCM was always negative about geothermal. It would cause earthquakes and all kind of nonsense that they started telling people. And some of their people believe without doing any research. Now, we continued and we had those 3 wells done. And we were at the point now of doing not just the exploratory drilling that had been done. We were at the point now of doing the proper wells, the developmental wells. Those wells which you can now use to flow test the well, ensure that the resource is what we thought that it was, and to proceed with the production wells to a stage where you can now design what type of engines you were going to use. we lost the government, DJ Morrishaw. I must tell you that before we lost the government, we visited, and I led a delegation to, no, Joseph Parry was on the delegation. So he led the delegation, and we went to see the US Import-Export Bank. They received us warmly. But in the corridors of the meeting, we were told that there were forces in Nevis, including the opposition, who did not support the geothermal project in Nevis. The why is a totally different matter. Not that they didn't support it so that energy could be harnessed and provided cheaper to the people, but that they did not want it under NRP. Because if it came under NRP, they figured that it would be more difficult for them to dislodge NRP from office. So it had nothing to do with Nevis. It had nothing to do with the people of Nevis. It had to do with CCM. I also went to Barbados to the Caribbean Development Bank on a different matter. But of course, the discussions came across to geothermal. My permanent secretary, Ernest Stapleton, was there with me. He's now Dr. Ernest Stapleton. And in those discussions at the Caribbean Development Bank, we were not there looking any loan. We were not there looking any grant from the Caribbean Development Bank, because that was to be handled solely by the developer, not by the people of Nevis. And I'm making this point clear, DJ Morrishaw, because you said you listened to the host yesterday. And you heard our Papi Show premier here thanking the federal government because Dr. Drew had provided a letter of comfort, which the Caribbean Development Bank needed so that they could provide $17 million worth of loan to the Nevis Island administration. But Nevis is not an entity in itself. And so Nevis had to get the federal government to sign off. DJ Morrishaw, this was never required when NRP was doing the geothermal development. Why? Because there was no requirement for Nevis to provide the funds. The requirement was based and left solely on the developer. But these people who are smarter, the smartest people God ever made, they are now funding the geothermal themselves. That is why they needed a loan. That is why they had to approach the Caribbean Development Bank. That is why they had to get a letter of comfort from the federal government, because the Caribbean Development Bank could not, would not, and will not speak to Nevis. They have to speak to the federal government. People have to understand this. And that is strictly because these fellows are not smart enough to put the onus on the developer, but are thinking they can do it themselves. So since they can do it themselves and they are brokes, they have to get a letter of comfort from the federal government. That is exactly what the story is, DJ. I sure hope I've been clear enough. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer the questions.
Well, it is very clear. But now that you have expressed that part of it, let's take a listen to what transpired in Parliament, because I love to give credit where it's due. And my problem here, Brother Carlisle, is that the impression I was getting from Premier Brantley, and I have been at several meetings where he spoke about geothermal, and as far as back as I think was 2013, he was supposed to hit the switch to start the system running. And last November, again, he was here in New York at a town hall meeting, and he gave a different reason for him not to do that, because this letter from the former Prime Minister Timothy Harris was holding up the process. And since that time to now, he got the letter from the now Prime Minister Drew, and it's another matter about traversing land and water and this and that. All of those talk was not coming up before. So at the end of the day, I know that Premier Brantley is just moving the goalposts and talking a lot of hogwash, but the people, you don't have to convince me, they don't have to convince you. We are aware of the situation, but it's the general public. There's a saying that you must not worry about the people that is upset when you're bringing information and bringing facts. Be upset about those who are misled. So I don't want our people in St. Kitts Nevis and in the diaspora at large to continue being misled. So let's take a listen as we go along.
Times of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to start by thanking the Honorable Prime Minister and the government for bringing this resolution. The resolution goes far beyond what it says. I think I want to speak to what the resolution portends for the sustainable island state that we keep hearing about. You know, in a very strange way, and I hope not to be controversial, but in a strange way, if this geothermal resource were located in Sandy Point, it would have been developed a long time ago. If it were an old road, it would have been developed a long time ago. The problem with geothermal is that it's in Nevis. And because it has been in Nevis, it has languished, even though it represents the answer for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. It has languished. I was in a government for 7 years and we couldn't get it moved. Because while we in Nevis were saying to stakeholders one thing, people over here in St. Kitts, in the same government, were saying something different.
So on that note there, Brother Carlisle, in a nutshell, apparently Premier Brantley and his team and the CCM, as you said earlier, did not support the project, not because it was not a viable project, but because they did not want the NRP to get credited for it and would have gone a long way in NRP being in government. So they undermined the process. But according to him now, he's acting as if is someone in St. Kitts that been blocking this process for some time. And this is where I want to have the conversation with you guys that knows better. Because people out there taking in this thing and believing him, you know.
DJ Morrishaw, I want you to take your minds back to 2012, 2013 campaign. And remember the words of Mark Brantley and his CCM cohorts on the platform. When we get in, we will flick the switch.
Yeah.
You will have geothermal energy very soon. They won the election in 2013. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. In 2017, in December, leading up to the elections, they brought a drill rig here from Middle America, had ribbon cutting ceremony and all of that, spent $5 million to have this elaborate show and to tell people from 2017, geothermal energy is coming. It is coming. See the drill here. We're going to start drilling in December. As soon as they won the election, the drill rig disappeared and 12 of the 13 containers that had been put at Hamilton disappeared with the drill rig. I have photos. Completely disappeared. When we did our research, you know what we found? They had spent up to that time $7 million on geothermal energy. Much of it in legal fees. Much of it in legal fees. They drilled a well in Hamilton. And I'm sure that you have that clip because I sent it to you before. At a town hall meeting, we heard from the CEO of Nevlec that the well was improperly drilled and was going to be abandoned.
Yes.
It was all an elaborate hoax by Mark Brantley and the CCM. So here is he coming now and saying he was part of a government for 7 years and couldn't get anything done. DJ Morrishaw, in 2015, CCM held the balance of power. PAM did not have the kind of power that they later had with their 4 seats. CCM held the balance of power. They said they could not get a letter of comfort from the Dr. Timothy Harris, but they sat down. They were lovey-dovey. Mark said on record is the best working relationship he has ever had with a prime minister. Timothy Harris was a good man. And when he couldn't get his way and he broke up the government, he came to say was a bad man. He did not give us a letter of comfort. But all he had to do was say, hey, listen, if you don't give us this letter of comfort, if you don't enact the Charlestown Accord, you know what we're going to do? We're going to leave you. Let the government fall down. Let it fall. Let us go back to the polls. You believe that Timothy Harris in 2015, just sensing and smelling power, would have allowed the government to fall without providing a letter of comfort?
Oh no.
Don't go with this puppy show. He's a joker.
And this is what he's trying to make people believe. And this thing about it wasn't me, it was them. And he was a part of this thing all along. People got to start paying attention to the MO of Premier Brantley. He's all in it, it's transactional. And once he's going good, I'm the one leading the charge. I am the best foreign minister ever. I am the best premier. I am the best this, I am the best that. But as soon as things are a little shaky, he run and says, not me, it's them.
I have
7
never
years he was a part of that administration.
sat down around the table, made people believe that he was the kingmaker. And now that the dodo has hit the fan, you heard what he said last week? He was outside in the yard.
Yeah.
He was inside in the inner cabinet. He was out in the yard. But he told people that he was a big player. So which is it? You out in the yard as a small bits and pieces player? Or are you inside around the table pushing the buttons to make things happen? This is a puppy show. This is a joker. This is a man of no accomplishments.
You know, and it goes back with the peace program, you know. All of them were saying they don't know nothing about the peace, not me no peace. But all of a sudden in the campaign, you know, they did the most thing about the peace. And everything that was wrong could have been somebody else, is not them, but they was there.
Exactly.
You know, I'm going to continue playing this clip, you know, but I just want things to sink into people's head, that they pay attention, you know. Because during the campaign, this is the same Premier Mark Brantley that came down to St. Kitts over the Old Road and the pasture and what you call it, Middle Island, campaigning with the People's Action Movement as his partners. He's going to bring 3 seats from Nevis and they have to do the West and descend. Dr. Joe ain't no good. Labour is no good for St. Kitts. The best party ever been do anything for St. Kitts was PAM. And he gives people the impression that NRP was doing secret deals with the Labour Party in St. Kitts. And it was a crime for any political party in Nevis to work with any political party in St. Kitts. That is the message he was sending. Look at where Mark Brantley is today. Look at where your premier is today. He's like on his knees pleading and begging for something. Cannot get nothing done. Look at that hospital wing and Nevis there. He said no work get done in there this year, for the year. Partner, I was up there, did a live broadcast. I heard the hammers beating. I see the people working. People came out taking my pictures. And people have to pay attention. And I will continue to talk truth to power until the people of Nevis wake up. The people of Nevis need to wake up and understand. Not just Nevis, you know. The taxpayers of the Federation, whether home or abroad, is we carrying this bill, you know. While we waste time and allow things to continue the way they're going, is we the taxpayers going to carry this burden? Because the federal government has to step in and assist in these regards. Let's continue listening to Premier Brantley.
While we were talking about developing geothermal energy in Nevis for the benefit of the entire country, we had discordant voices over here in Bastille saying, let us try to see if St. Kitts has geothermal. Let us try and spend money to prospect and to investigate whether or not we have the resource in St. Kitts. And that's why I started where I started, because we would not have had that if the resource was located within the geographic confines of St. Christopher. It's an unfortunate commentary on our nation that we were at that point. And this is why I said today is historic, because it took a change in government and a change in leadership and a change in philosophy for us to now be at the point where we are. And I'm grateful, and I say that publicly, because long after I am gone, I am hopeful that these types of efforts and the message that they send will speak through the generations to come for the benefit of our children and our children's children. I have publicly commended the Honorable Member for number 8, our Prime Minister. He's over there and I'm over here. But when good things are done, we must say that they're good things. And I've publicly commended him because we needed for a very long time a letter to go from the federal government here in Bastia to the CDB, simply to say we support this project. And we could not get that letter. We could not get that letter. And to the honorable gentleman opposite, Prime Minister, to his credit, at our very first meeting after he became Prime Minister, I raised the matter with him. And in very short order, the letter went to the CDB. That was the only missing piece for the CDB then to consider. And ultimately, on the 9th of December last year, their board approved the $17 million that is referenced.
So, Carlisle, if it's just a simple letter that was needed for this project, and he did not get it from the former Prime Minister Timothy Harris, during the campaign of 2021-2022, why did Premier Brantley tell the people, tell the nation, tell the world this? Take a listen.
People come and whisper foolishness in your ear, tell them that's foolishness because St. Kitts and Nevis is enjoying an unprecedented time of prosperity. Unprecedented time of prosperity. The relationship, and let me just take 2 minutes, Brother Lindsay, just to say that the relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis has never been better. It is the best. It is the best that we have seen. The best that we have seen. It is because of the closeness of that relationship that I could stand here tonight in Molyneux and speak to you. Speak to you as a national of this country, as part of the Team Unity administration. And if Vance Amory was here, he would have done similarly, because we are now bound together in a very tangible and important way as we advance the interests of the country. Now in Nevis, for the first time, people are not seeing those age-old distinctions that we used to have. If you want a job and a job is at Park Hyatt, people go on Park Hyatt to work. Wherever work is in the country, people are saying, I am a national of this country and I'm taking advantage of that. People of St. Kitts are taking advantage of opportunities in Nevis and vice versa. You know why? Ultimately, we are 2 islands, 1 paradise. 2 islands, but 1 country. And we need to continue to ensure that all of our people benefit from all that we have to offer as a country. I thank the Honorable Prime Minister. I thank Team Unity and the vision that went into this. I have said so many times, right here in St. Kitts, that we come from disparate places and disparate backgrounds. When I was in opposition, another man used to talk as hard to me as Timothy Harris when he talking from over there. Talk hard, I used to afraid him because you know he's big. So to come from there to where we are now says to you that we were able to put away those things and come together. Put away those things and come together for the benefit of the people of Nevis. Thank you, God bless and good night.
So, Brother Carlisle, this is very contradicting, you know.
DJ Morrishaw, a couple of things I want to address from that. One, the NRP under Joseph Parry did not need any letter of comfort from the federal government to go to the CDB because the NRP was not responsible for raising the capital for the geothermal development. All of that rested with the developer. Mark Brantley has completely reversed that, in that the Nevis Island administration is now the one responsible for raising the capital. And because Nevis cannot raise the capital, Nevis has given away geothermal to the federal government. Point number 1. Point number 2, he said that there is not this age-old distinction. But he still went on in the speech in Parliament yesterday to say that if geothermal were in St. Kitts, it would have been developed. You remember that from the first clip you played?
Yeah.
Well, he is the one who is creating the division and the distinction. If geothermal were in St. Kitts, it would have been developed. But it is in Nevis. And so Timothy Harris didn't like us. But he just said that Timothy Harris was his best friend. That is what you can get from what he just said. He also said, listen, you got to put away those distinctions. But he's not putting them away. He's raising them. And why is he doing it? because he has to prove to the world that he's close to Dr. Terence Drew. Mark Brantley has become like a bum fly to Dr. Drew. You see flies on cows? He's like one of them. He's like a bum fly to Dr. Drew. He has to prove that he is the closest and best friend to Dr. Drew. But if I were Dr. Drew, I would have bodyguards looking especially at Mark Brantley, because he's a stranger to the truth. The man don't know the difference between when he's telling a lie or he's telling the truth, because he lies so openly and so frequently. All you have to do is to get different clips from Mark Brantley and play them. He says one thing today, and it seems like he's losing his memory. So when he says something, you don't remember what he says. And so he says something completely opposite tomorrow. The man is sick. He reminds me of an interview I did with Sim Daniel when he said the man is sick. He is sick. He has a sickness unto himself, using the words of the late national hero Sim Daniel. Only if he does something, it is done right. So only he can develop geothermal. And he has shown that he has no grasp, no understanding, no comprehension of what it will take to develop geothermal in Nevis. He's a lost cause.
For sure. And, you know, it's unfortunate, you know, because I was speaking to someone today. By the way, we got some people out here, then you know. I got a call from a Nevision earlier just before I was setting up to go live, and I'm trying my best not to be late because I know you only have an hour and I want to give you your full hour. And this individual is telling me that they get in the shower now and they don't want me to come here tonight with no 1 hour or 2 hours, because when I sign off on a Wednesday night, then I got nothing else to do. What happened? I took a TV with them when I sign off. People are putting in some serious orders here and telling me this tour business can't work. But I'm giving you an hour and I'm taking an hour and I'm gone. So because the whole idea is that, as I said last Wednesday, the people of Nevis got to wake up. The people of Nevis got to wake up. You guys are doing a very good job bringing out the facts and highlighting the issues, the laws and the legislation. But if the people of Nevis does not get up and stand up to Premier Brantley, pretty soon are you going to be strangers in your country or aliens in your country? You know? That is where it's at. I understand yesterday was the second reading of this change in legislation, and only one person was there, Sister Patricia Bartlett, a lady of my own heart. With all the people in Nevis, is only Patricia Bartlett alone have a problem with what's taking place. So Janice is inside fighting the fight, and Patricia is on the outside. What happened to the rest of Nevis? They love Baby Brantley, they love Mark Brantley, they love Premier Brantley that much, and the wrong he's doing, that they cannot stand up to him. Well, it doesn't stop there, Brother Carlisle. We just spoke about his love for Dr. Joe and his new found friend of the Labour Party in the new parliament. We spoke about his former love for Timothy. Well, I got something else I'm going to give you now, and I'm doing it in 2020 style, because 2020 cricket, since you don't have time, I'm giving you pieces. If we were to stay here tonight and give you the full makeup of the various sides of Mark Brantley, I'm going to be here until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Because believe me, I'm loaded up. My drive is here loaded and ready to go. Lock and load with a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm going to give it to you in bits and pieces. So let's take a listen to this one. Campaign 2022. Let's take a listen to the then Mark Brantley, Premier Brantley, when he was in love with Team Unity and the former Prime Minister.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by expressing my absolute delight at being back here in St. Kitts for purposes of this launch. It seemed like only yesterday that we were at Greenlands Park, bringing life to something called Team Unity that so many people said was impossible. For the first time in the history of this country, political parties with different viewpoints, even persons who had hitherto been opposed to each other, came together in unity. And since that time, we have succeeded even beyond our wildest imaginations in transforming the country of St. Kitts and Nevis. They said it wouldn't last, they said it couldn't happen, but unity not only happened, it has lasted and it has grown even stronger. Now we have come over from Nevis this evening, just as we did those years ago at Greenlands Park, to indicate to the good people of St. Kitts and to the wider Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis that we of the Concerned Citizens Movement are as committed now as we were then to this unity administration. It is important for us not to turn back now. It is important for us to keep the momentum that this unity administration has had. And ladies and gentlemen, let us be honest with ourselves. Let us be fair in our analysis and our assessment. On any standard, using any yardstick, unity has been a tremendous success for St. Kitts and Nevis. Whether it is the issue of crime, whether it is the economy, whether it is the relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis, whether it is in our foreign affairs and our restoration of the good and decent name of St. Kitts and Nevis, on any analysis using any yardstick, in 5 short years, Team Unity has transformed the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I would want, in my short time here at the podium, to express my gratitude to the Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, for his leadership, and to all of our colleagues who have, through thick and thin, maintained the course, stayed the course in the cause of unity. And that is why we have been able to prove the naysayers wrong. That is why we have been able to maintain our position and to lead this country in such a way that the people of our nation are better off today than they were yesterday. I have not come tonight to talk about the past, because I believe that we ought to let the dead bury the dead. So it is not for me to talk about Labour and NRP. If you are ahead in the race, no need to look back. We are now concerned about the next term for unity and what it is we shall seek to do for the people of this country, to continue to elevate our young people, to continue to create jobs, to continue to grow the economy, to continue to control crime and criminality, to continue to give our people hope. And when I say our people, I mean all of our people, the people in Nevis as well as the people in St. Kitts. The young boy from Gingerland, I've always said, must have the same aspirations as the young boy from Keon or Tabernacle. He or she must know that they can achieve anything they wish to achieve, because St. Kitts and Nevis has provided for them the necessary environment for them to do so. And so what we are doing is not for us. It's not for us. When I came in Greenlands, I could have described myself as a young man. I can't do so anymore. And you will see from my beard, I've grown gray in the last few years. But we are here doing something for the next generation and for the generation after that, to ensure, ladies and gentlemen, that we have a better St. Christopher and Nevis, a better country, something that we all can be proud of, and something that we can leave to the next generation and the generation after that, that they too will be proud of and have something that they can build on.
So, but Powell, that was a campaign speech in 2020, not too long ago. Is it that the Premier has an amnesia, a memory problem, or he's just naturally light and naturally bad?
Naturally lie, naturally bad, with a selective memory. That is what you have to say about Mark Brantley. Not so long ago, he wasn't concerned about the Labour Party. All of a sudden, he has replaced his friends in unity with the Labour Party. The NRP campaigned and said, listen, we would work with whichever party is in St. Kitts, forms the government, the federal government, because they have the majority. And he and CCM said, no, 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 that can't work, that is wrong. He has gone full circle. What is he doing? Working with the party in St. Kitts that has the majority number of seats. How is that different to the NRP's position? He decided in the running up to the last election, listen, I am going to campaign vociferously against the Labour Party, which he did. He and Pam against the Labour Party. He abandoned his very good best friend, Dr. Harris. He has now abandoned Pam because he's best friends with Labour. How is that different to what NRP said? You go ahead, you fight your fight in St. Kitts. Whoever emerges winners, we are going to work with them. That was wrong for NRP to say. He didn't say it. He campaigned against the Labour Party. The NRP did not campaign against any party in St. Kitts. We said, fight your fight, we'll fight our fight, and then we'll talk. Simple as that. Some people said that didn't make sense, but does it make sense for Mark Brantley? He didn't say it, but he's doing it. What is the difference? You prefer a man who tells you what his position is, or one who say, hey, listen, I'm totally against you. And then at the end of the thing say, come, let's hug up and dance because you and I are close. The man has selective memory. He's willful and spiteful and bad. And you have to keep your eyes on people like those. But while you're keeping your eyes on him, DJ Morrishaw, he continues to be divorced from reality. Why do I say that? In all of this talking that he has talked recently about the CBI and all kind of things, he's trying to distract people from the fact that they have spent about $30 million on the hospital and he can't finish. He's trying to distract people from the fact that there is an airport deal which has been signed, which he told people he will come to them in town hall meetings before signing. But the deal is signed. He has told people via press conference and this advisor, which he has on investments, that the airport will be extended by 1,500 feet, 500 feet towards Hurricane Hill, when we already have a displaced threshold towards Hurricane Hill, meaning you already have 500 feet you cannot use for landing. We are going to add another 500 feet to that. So we'll have 1,000 feet down towards Hurricane Hill that you cannot use for landing. So the planes coming in to land must fly over the first 1,000 feet before they can touch down. So what are you going to do? What kind of aircraft you really bringing in? What kind of passenger loads you expect to get when you can't use the first 1,000 feet and you only will have a 5,000 foot runway? Or even 5,500 foot runway. You can't use the first 1,000 feet. These are questions which people have to ask him. What about dialysis? NRP brought in 2 brand new dialysis units. He said he so loved the people, the dialysis patients. He went down to St. Kitts, put on a full suit, and went to sympathize with them. But he allowed 2 machines, $500,000 worth of equipment to go to waste in Nevis. But he loved them. He loved them because no member of his family is on dialysis. If he or a member of his close family were on dialysis, you see how fast they would get units in Nevis. But no, he's not affected. So all he has to do is to say, we love you, go down to St. Kitts. Not we love you, let's do it in Nevis. The man is sick.
You know, the situation is really, really grave in Nevis. I listened to the Premier at a press conference talking about how good the health system is in Nevis and the situation there with the expansion wing does not affect the provision of healthcare. Since that, I have spoken to many Nevisians, male and female, and there's a few female that tell me straight up that they will not go to the Alexandria Hospital for care because of how situation is there. The doctors and nurses that is there is trying their best, but the operations there and the conditions there is not viable. So they prefer to jump on a boat and go across to St. Kitts. One lady said she had to get a baby, and she was not going to get that baby in Nevis. So a Nevisian was born in St. Kitts. That's one of the voters that are going to be voting in St. Kitts in the upcoming elections. You know, I want to know why people in the diaspora, and not just people in the diaspora, people there locally that I have spoken to, they have said to me, yes, Mr. Morrishaw, this is wrong, that is wrong. The Premier is not doing a good job. The Premier is messing up here. But I support the party. How can you support something that is destroying you? How can you support something that is destroying you? You get up in the morning and you got a pain in your foot. You're going to leave the pain there? Are you going to try to do something to get rid of that pain? What is going on? What is going on in the head of the people in Nevis? I remember some lady some time ago there that was speaking about her daughter and what Premier Brantley did to her and her support for the party, but she will still vote for CCM. I am not here talking about who you should vote for. I'm talking about what's best for you and the country and the future of the country. What we're dealing with right now is like the CCM, all of them, because you cannot tell me that you have other people in that party seeing what's happening and supporting it. I listened to Mr. Brand spoke yesterday in the NIA Assembly following Janice Daniel Hatch. And I always say, do not know Mr. Brand, so I cannot speak about him. But these people are serious. These people gonna be inside there, got common sense and going to not know to do no wrong from right. I'm gonna support whatever the Premier say. You cannot tell the Premier come back. You're going down the wrong road. That's what you all telling me down there. I look at what his name is, Alexis Jefferson Parliament in St. Kitts on Monday, and the deal taking in all the bullshit that Premier Brantley is talking about. You're gonna tell me none of them could pull him up and say, Brother Brantley, Premier Brantley, you're on the wrong track. They're supporting him. The AG, the Prime Minister, all of them that sit down in that Parliament, Douglas and whoever is in Parliament on Monday, they're telling me that they sit there, listen to all of the bullshit that Matt Brantley is spewing, and they believe in him. They're accepting all of those bullshit. While you're supporting the Integrity Act in St. Kitts, the Freedom of Information Act in St. Kitts, you're shredding the one in Nevis, and they're sitting there accepting this bullshit. Or you're telling me that is in your Prime Minister that we have? Well, Doctor, you're going to have to tell me whether he's in support of my bullshit or not, you know. And this is serious talk. You cannot tell me that Mark Brantley is coming down to St. Kitts. Premier Brantley is coming down to St. Kitts and giving all of this impression and all this talk and damaging Nevis. And you all sit down there in Parliament, in a federal cabinet or a federal government and entertaining that bullshit, you know, Mr. Prime Minister. DJ we should not going to stand by and accept these things, you know. I'm going to talk my things then. However how you feel. But you all are paid to lead the country in the right order and not accepting Mark Brantley bullshit. And this is where it's at, Brother Carlisle. Right now, I am at my wit's end with what I'm seeing happening down there. And I'm calling from the top, from the Governor General, H.E. Libod, all the way down to the lowest man in St. Kitts Nevis. Are we going to continue allowing this thing to happen to our country? Am I the only one saying this? I have many friends who were support of Timothy and Pam and them. And after the federal election, they came and said to me, boy, Morrishaw, we do not know. You're a special person. You see what we did not see. You could see far ahead. But you're going to tell me that with all of them people sitting down in the federal cabinet, in the federal parliament, none of them could see what Mark Brantley is and what he's doing?
Has to do with principle, DJ Morrishaw. I served with a gentleman named Mr. Joseph Parry, and I cannot remember one single matter that went to a vote in cabinet in 7 years. Not one. You know why? Because when matters were raised, we had fulsome, forthright, blunt discussions when necessary. And we were able to look at matters from all the different sides and to hear your view. Nobody was upset with you when you finished hearing your view. That was your view. We were always respectful. And sometimes when we were discussing matters and people were able to see where we were coming from, you just pull back some matters and say, listen, let me pull back this, put this aside. Let me do some more research. Let me present it differently, taking your views into consideration. CCM is not like that. They behave like a cult. So that when you had the junior minister, for example, come to Parliament and say that, listen, she has her receipts and only $8-point-something million had been spent on the hospital. Eric, the Premier, all the rest of them were behind the clapping and cheering. Yeah. Completely forgetting that Hazel Brandy in the same Parliament as a Minister of Health of years standing had already said that they had spent $6 million more, 14-point-something million. Mark Brantley forgot that he had gone on a show and had said that he agreed with the figure that Hazel said. He had to come back later and correct both figures and say that they had spent about 17 million. But in the moment, when the junior minister had put forward half of the figure that had been spent, all of them were cheering and clapping. Nobody looked to anybody, not Troy, not the premier. Nobody looked to anybody and said, but no, that is not what Hazel said last year. Because CCM is like a cult. One person says something and everybody say, yes, 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 we agree. Nobody stopped to check to see whether they're right or wrong. And that is the problem we have with some people in Nevis. You see me, DJ Morrishaw, I'm a little bit different. When you're wrong, I tell you that you're wrong. When you're right, I tell you that you're right. And in the case of when I was in government, I was never afraid to say to any minister, listen, this is not right. You believe I could have been in a government with anybody, and they bring this bullshit piece of legislation where the Deputy Governor General is going to choose somebody, the Premier is going to choose somebody, and then the Premier is going to choose somebody else. You believe that the Deputy Governor General is going to pick Carlisle Powell, knowing that Carlisle Powell does not support the foolishness that CCM does and the Integrity Commission? Well, if you believe that, DJ Morrishaw, put out the word. Tell Mrs. Hailita Leiber, my friend, we taught together at Ivor Walters Primary. Tell her that Carlisle is available for the Integrity Commission. And see if she pick Carlisle Powell to go on the Integrity Commission. And if Mark says I approve it. That will not happen. That amendment that they just did in Parliament is to ensure that Mark Brantley can pick all the members of the Integrity Commission. And what are the people in Nevis doing? Silent as a church mouse. They're quiet. They don't understand the implications and the ramifications. That is the problem that I have. And I keep telling people, you know, my last child is already 33 years old. I'm not fighting for me or for them. We are fighting for fairness and evenness for the people of Nevis, for generations to come, young children who are yet unborn. So when they do something like this foolishness, what are they saying? That they will rule forever? And one of these days, they are not going to be in the opposition? They were in the opposition with one single seat. Nobody treated them as strangers. They were incorporated and involved in the running of the country. Mayor Motley won every single seat in Barbados. And there is a leader of the opposition. They are opposition members. They are involved in the selection of judges and so on. In Nevis, Mark Brantley said, listen, I don't like Janice because she don't talk to me. So she's not going to get that privilege. What kind of picky nigger foolishness is that? That is what we have come to after 40 years of independence. Does that speak well of our Nevis? Is that how we want the outside world to see us? Not at all. This is embarrassing.
Seriously embarrassing, serious. And, you know, it's unfortunate, you know. You got 3 minutes before your 7 o'clock hour there. So I'm going to leave the other clip. I'm going to go into it on my own. Because this other clip, I want to thank the former ambassador to the United Nations, you know. Brother Ian Patches-Leiber has been making my life very easy on this program for the last couple of weeks. Because a lot of the unfortunate stuff that is taking place on Nevis that I have to go and edit, he already do it. And he's doing a very good job. So I got to give him credit for holding Premier Brantley foot to the fire. Because remember, you know, prior to Patches dealing with Premier Brantley, when all of them was in the same cup, you know, them Spall Up cup we used to have a drink Swank out back in the days. When all of them was in that same Spall Up cup, and people talk about what Patches was doing on these programs, and ZIZ, twice a week, cussing people, disrespecting people. Premier Brantley said the man have a right to have his opinion, you know. But I wonder how we feel. I wonder how we feel now. Now Patches is dealing with him. I wonder how he feel. If he feel the same one. So I'm gonna be dealing with that in the next segment. So, Brother Powell, I'm going to give you the opportunity to have your say. say hello to who you want to say hello to. I know you got tell me tomorrow evening, I think 8 p.m. On 2020 Vision Radio. So I will give you your opportunity and I'll pick up the second half on my own.
Listen, well, I haven't heard the fellows downstairs yet, but Nevis is in a very precarious position right now. We find ourselves in a position where the current government under Mark Brantley has had in excess of $1.2 billion to spend. Not just the money from the federal government, from the CBI, which is now over $500 million. You also have at least $700 million in tax revenue. Nevis is broke. Nevis will be broke next year. Despite all the money that is coming in, Nevis cannot find money to do geothermal exploration. Nevis cannot find money for the airport deal. Remember, it's $70 million worth of debt we have put ourselves into with that loan from the foundation that is going to be spearheading the airport deal. Nevis cannot find money to put up a simple welcoming shelter at the Orly facility. And that pier was completed years ago. It breaks my heart to see videos when rain falls, how people have to be standing on benches with the water running under the tent and the church benches that they're on. Nevis is broke, but Mark Brantley will never be broke. Mark Brantley has done well for himself. He is not going to be broke. The people of Nevis are broke and broken. The government which is in power now has been the biggest failure that we have seen in the history of Nevis. I just want you to consider, Dr. Sir Simeon Daniels started Nevis with his government with $250,000. $250,000. Mark Brantley gets from the federal government $6 million plus every month. I tell you, Sim Daniels started the government with $250,000, you know. And Brantley is getting $6 million every single month. But he can't get anything done. He had to borrow money to drill wells for water. And even though he borrowed money from Social Security, no wells have been drilled up to this present state. He borrowed money for the last piece of road we just did from Cliff Dwellers heading across to Newcastle. He borrowed money from Social Security because Nevis ain't got no money. If the check does not come from the federal government on time so that public workers in Nevis could get paid, Nevis people will be in deep shambles. So you have somebody who they say is a smooth talker, who can't deliver anything. He's just like a shop pony. The man, they say sound good, talking foolishness in standard English. But show me, just show me your trophies. Show me the number of wells that have been drilled. Show me the amount of water which is coming from those wells. Show me a solar project in Nevis. And they had cleaned off about 12 acres close to where I live, you know, for a solar project. Not one panel has been put down on that place. The government is just incapable of completing a project. This is going down in history as the worst government in the history of Nevis. And these are people who said that the NRP government under Joseph Parry was doing too much. Well, we have gone from doing too much to doing too little. And the people in Nevis in the last election have shown that, listen, on the ground, they're unpopular. But they're good at trickery. They're very good at trickery and fooling people and bribing people. But something happened in the Bahamas, which I'm keeping my eyes on. They arrested a fellow with $50,000, which was going to be used to bribe voters. In Nevis, we have people around CCM who have been walking around with their backpacks full of money, and nobody touched them. But let us see how that will play out in future. DJ Morrishaw, I'm worried about Nevis. I'm worried about St. Kitts and Nevis. if I were Dr. Drew and I see somebody like Mark Brantley supporting me, I would be nervous. Because the man has admitted that he has brought down more prime ministers than anybody else. So why does Dr. Drew think that he is something special? Is the first time in the history of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis where the opposition is opposing the opposition?
For real.
3 people got shot in St. Kitts today. Have you heard a statement from Mark Brantley? No. What the total is now, 30 or 31 murders. Have you heard a statement from Mark Brantley condemning the rising violence? But he had a 10-point plan for Dr. Douglas. He issued a 10-point plan as leader of the opposition to Dr. Douglas, including him, telling him, come home, stay home to deal with the crime. But he's the leader of the opposition. He has not said a word about CBI. While everybody, Sean has said something about it. Timothy has expressed his concern. Mark Brantley has said, Dr. Drew, I love you. A dependent CBI and not saying anything. If anything wrong, blame Dr. Harris. I'm not blaming you, blame Dr. Harris. Murders escalating in St. Kitts. Thank God, let me knock wood, the fellows in Navy seem to be a little bit more quiet. 3 shot today. They said 2 have died. I don't know about the 3rd one. Mark Brantley has not issued a statement because the leader of the opposition, he is opposing the opposition. He's not opposing the government. Somebody forgot to tell him that His Majesty's loyal opposition is supposed to oppose the government in areas where he sees fit to oppose and to offer suggestions. So he believed that his job is to oppose Timothy Harris. That is what he's doing. Is the first time in the history of the Federation, 40 years of independence, that the opposition is opposing the opposition. I wonder what Ivor Stevens would say if you were to come back alive. Because Ivor Stevens was so fervent in his opposition that he spoke in the federal parliament for 3 days. He made the great R.L. Bradshaw walk out of his own parliament. Ural Swanston stood up in St. Kitts and spoke as if he didn't want to stop against Bradshaw. And here you come to a case in 2023 where the leader of the opposition is not opposing the government, you're opposing the opposition. God help us, DJ Morrishaw. I wish you well on the next part of the show. I listening.
You know, the funny thing about it is, Brother Carlisle, and I always tell people, I don't think it's any secret that I supported Dr. Drew. I supported his campaign, and by extension, I have to support the Labour Party because he's the leader of the government.
Correct.
What if Dr. Drew going to be doing things that I don't think is right, Brother Carlisle? I talk to him quietly, and if I don't see any reason, I'm going to talk to him hard, right here. I don't have a problem with it. If he got a problem with it, tough. You understand? But I'm not going to strive for my conscience. The problem that I'm seeing with Premier Brantley, he needs to step down. He cannot manage. Timothy said it, and we have seen it for ourselves. He cannot manage. Why not give up the leadership to somebody who can be an opposition leader? Give it up. Your hands are too full. Give it up, Mark Brantley. I don't hate you. I love you as an individual. But as a politician, you're the worst I've ever seen. The worst. And who don't like it, tough. And if Dr. Drew and the Attorney General and the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party continue going down this road and don't jerk the chain of Mark Brantley, Premier Brantley, when it comes to federal funds and demand some kind of justifications for what he's doing in Nevis, then they have a problem. And if they have a problem, I have a problem too. We can't speak about it. The Labour administration is just what, 15, 16 months old. They have done a lot. As a matter of fact, before the end of the year, I will come here and I will highlight what they have done because they have done a lot in a short space of time. But come on, you cannot tell me that sensible, educated people sitting in that parliament don't see what is happening in Nevis. They cannot tell me that they know about what's going on in Saudi Arabia. They just come back from Dubai. They know what's going on in Canada, but they know what's going on 2 miles across the waters from where they're from. This is November. Prime Minister Joe promised me that by November he will visit Nevis, he'll visit the people. He's going to get the federal office back online and do what he have to do. I'm still waiting. The end of November ain't come as yet, but I'm holding his foot to the fire. Because come the end of November, and Prime Minister Joe has not engaged the people of Nevis, I'm going to be back on the trail again. This is unacceptable. Downright unacceptable. I listened to Dr. Joe, Prime Minister Joe, at the inauguration in Warner Park, made it clear that he's the Prime Minister for all, for St. Kitts and Nevis. I know he got to travel overseas to reconnect our business overseas. But why so hard to go across the waters 2 miles away to meet with the people of Nevis? What is so hard? Why is he entertaining Mark Brandt and him doing these wrongs? The Constitution speaks for itself. Why they want to amend certain areas to their benefit, but on another hand, they ignore the rest? And I'm questioning our AG. I have a lot of questions for the AG. What about Premier Brantley that you're always afraid to deal with Premier Brantley? What he's doing to the country is wrong. What he's doing to Nevis is wrong. I'm speaking to the people of St. Kitts. What is happening to Nevis could happen to you right there in St. Kitts. I look at Premier Brantley as an arsonist. You know, arsonists have to start fire and then come with the cup, say they're trying to out the fire. That is what I'm seeing there. The guy have a serious problem. So, Brother Carlisle, thanks again for coming. And I'm telling you, the 1 hour not going to work, you know. So, you let me know your availability, you know, before the end of the year. We got to continue this conversation.
DJ
A lot to
Morrishaw,
talk about.
I will be back. I made you a promise that I would come, and I know that I've been delinquent. Anytime that I am available on a Wednesday for the full show, I will make myself available. I will tell you.
Just message me because we have a lot to talk about.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
And normally I would send you off with a song, but I don't have time for a song this evening, so I'm going to send you off with patches because that is my next segment.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks.
Mark Bells the Cat is a true story. Now, Mark Brantley, we know, is struggling to keep the Nevis ship of state from running aground. And this is being caused by his poor management of its economy and the mounting high debt that has accumulated under his tenure as Premier and Minister of Finance in Nevis. In a few weeks, by law, Mark Brantley must table the NIA budget of revenue and expenditure for approval by the Nevis Legislative Assembly. Nevisians cannot wait. The Nevisians cannot wait to find out if the accumulated public debt has now reached to $1 billion. In his 2022 budget address, recall that he reported it was over $500 million by Straight Dog family. This is what he reported back then.
Our debt as of July 2023, our total foreign debt stood at $30.8 million. In terms of our domestic debt, that number stands at $449.4 million. When that is combined then with the foreign debt, we have a total NIA debt $480.3 million EC dollars. In terms of government guaranteed debt, and that total public sector debt comes up to $36.7 million. When then you combine the public corporations with the central government debt of $480.3 million, we have a cumulative total debt position of the island of Nevis at this point, that is corporations, of $544.7 million EC dollars. By any measure, it is a significant number.
Yes, significant, he confesses. But the NIA under Brantley also has an annual wage bill of $97 million. $97 million. Believe it or not, my Straight Talk family.
I ask Pierce, could you give me a sense of the salary, pension, and wages bill for the government of Nevis each month? And he sent it to me, $8,009,489.60. That's how much Nevis has to find each month to satisfy its public servants and its pensioners. When you multiply that by 12, our wage bill alone is $96,113,875.20. Let's just round it off, and let's say $96 million a year.
And my Straight Talk family, meanwhile, Brantley gets $66 million from St. Kitts, an amount that comes from the CBI. And that amount he started getting from former Prime Minister Timothy Harris. And it has not been increased by the current Prime Minister, Terence Michael Drew. So Mark Brantley is therefore desperate. He's in a state of desperation. He's like a drowning man. And it is said that a drowning man clutches to a straw. And that straw is Terence Michael Drew, who himself is drowning in a plethora of problems, or as he puts it, in a polycrisis that seems too much to handle and cause him to invoke the Murphy's Law. My Straight Talk family.
Murphy's Law reminds us that anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
My Straight Talk family, there are multiple challenges affecting the world simultaneously. The interplay between the COVID-19 pandemic recovery and fallout from the war in Ukraine has derived the energy, cost of living, and the climate crises. Add them as part of our own dilemma right here in St. Kitts Nevis that has seen a decrease in cruise ship arrivals. Not one new investment in 16 months, or going on to 17 months of this new administration. Even though over 1 year ago, he said investors were waiting on Labour. My Straight Talk family.
It's quite interesting that after the elections, a number of investors came forward. And they said, Dr. Joe, we had been waiting to invest in St. Kitts and Nevis. And they said, why you didn't do it then? And they said they couldn't do it under the last administration. So we are looking at that, so they will have more, foreign investment that would help to stir the economy.
But what is more troubling, however, is the looming threat of declining CBI revenue. Dr. Drew gave the country a diagnosis of the problem, but did not provide a prescription. He told us, for example, about the extreme risk of heavily depending on the CBI. My Straight Talk family. He told us this.
A review of the government's 2021 fiscal performance highlighted how heavily the former administration relied on the proceeds from the Citizenship by Investment program to fund the operations of the government. This is not a sustainable practice, Madam Speaker. During that year, inflows from the CBI program accounted for 54.9% of total revenue and grants and funded 63.5% of the government's total expenditure. Madam Speaker, it is clear that this cannot be the pathway that we pursue as a country. And that is why I think that the people voted for the Labour Party's administration to take the helm of government to work on changing this reality. This situation puts us at extreme risks, and as a country, we must divert from it.
And my straight talk family, there's no saying that talk is cheap, but whiskey costs money. And if we examine his own budget that was tabled in the National Assembly last December, and is preparing to table a next one. And you will glean, my straight talk family, from these totals that nothing has really changed. What has changed in terms of the budget which he tabled, my straight talk family? Look at the revenue. The total revenue projected for 2023 is $1.018 billion. And look, my straight talk family, at the CBI revenue. The CBI revenues, which I thought I posted, but the CBI revenues is $518,315,789. That still is over 50% of the total revenue and grants. So what has changed? We ask the question. When asked about the number of passports he signed, for example, he's stonewalling. When asked about the number of passports he signed since taking office, his response was, Prime Minister Harris signed more than him. That was his response.
What is the
my
total
straight-talk
number of passports that Sinks and Nevis has approved over the years? And since you have taken office, how many passports have you issued under the CBI program?
You would have asked is about the numbers. And I've said to you before that the audit is actually being had. I am not going to call a number until that audit is complete, but I can tell you this, that the vast majority was signed by the immediate past Prime Minister.
My straight-talk family, so in the meanwhile, the snake, Mark Brantley, went off to Dubai on an official visit, only to be exposed that he apparently wore his Daniel Brantley hat and jersey at this Henley and Partners conference. With nothing to report to Nevisians, he revises a plot that he had hatched since in 2022, last year. Remember, he wanted to investigate something. He wanted to investigate this, my straight-talk family. This was a plot he actually seemed to have
said to the
revised.
Honorable Sean Richards that I want him to put me in charge of investigations. They call me the sheriff, I want to investigate something.
Indeed, Mark will be immediately appointed to investigate Prison Gate.
You remember that plot? This was celebrating. They intended to go back into government and do as they like with our money, the CBI money. However, the people of St. Kitts had different ideas. And Mark Brantley all of a sudden now realizes that if 30% of his budget slips away, then he will be doomed forever, my straight-talk family. He will be doomed.
I think all of us, it will behoove all of us to take a step back, to recognize that this program has benefited the country
It was good when Dr. Douglas was there, meaning in terms of revenue being generated for the country. It was good when Dr. Harris was there as Prime Minister in terms of revenue, and it is still good for the country. It has existed now for some 40 years. Next year is going to be 40 years. Why do we want to mash it up? Because we're not in government anymore? You want to be able to say, oh, it mash up under he or she? If it mash up, the whole country is going to suffer. When I look at the contributions in terms of Nevis, it is now accounting for something in the region of about 30% of the Nevis budget. Where is Nevis going to replace that overnight? And sometimes the problem I have is that there's some out there who seem to be wishing hardship on the very country that they covet. They want things.
What is amazing here is to hear Premier Brantley and now new Labour administration led by Dr. Joe. He's saying that the CBI contributes some 30% of the Nevisians' budget annually. But isn't this the same Premier Brantley that was saying that Nevis not getting anything from St. Kitts, they're not getting their fair share, and he demanding a fair share? You know, I wonder if when Premier Brantley come up with these chatter, if he does really think that we are foolish, people not paying attention. Maybe the Nevisians not paying attention, you know. Maybe the people of Nevis not paying attention. Maybe the supporters of system not paying attention. But DJ Morrishaw is paying attention. And the people of Nevis, you, the citizens of Nevis, you all need to really wake up. I said it last week and I'm going to say it again in a very nice way this week. Please get up off your backside and go out and do the work to rid Nevis of this cancer. Cancer does not give your body any nutrition. It destroys the body. And it's going to come a time when it's gone for good. Are you guys going to wait until Nevis is in the grave to the point of no return to realize that the full bucket of water that was there, somebody put a hole in the bottom of it by the name of Premier Brantley? And now all the water gone, you realize that there's no water to drink. Are you Nevisians going to get up off your backside and understand that the damage right now is very serious, it's very severe? You can't even say Nevis is on life support, you know. It's beyond that. It's way beyond that. So again, I want to thank Brother Ian Pattis-Libert for making my life very easy this evening. So let's go back to Brother Patches as he executes his presentation on Premier Brantley.
Things to get hard in St. Kitts and Nevis so they could say, give me the control so I could make it better.
The snake, Mark Brantley, began to rattle. In a rapid succession of sharp threats, because of what seems to be a resurgence of Timothy Harris, especially after his recent press conference that left Drew and Brantley nervously shaking in their boots, is a term I'm sure you would have heard before.
Yeah, but Brother Patches, that one we're going to disagree on. There is no resurgence of Timothy Harris. Timothy Harris has been a part of a government in St. Kitts Nevis. That is no more. Not under my watch. But continue doing the good job at prosecuting Premier Brantley. But where Timothy is concerned, Timothy can play a game of domino with me. That's not a problem. I could buy him a drink as well. But in terms of resurgence into government, that is a no-no. Let's continue the conversation.
Drew Recall has thus failed in his attempt at destroying another Harris with his nonsensical accusation about $20 million missing from the development bank in cash. Remember this, my Straight Dog family. He said this.
On taking office, the government solicited a forensic accounting report of the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis. This was done by MNP LLP, one of the largest full-service chartered professional accountancy and business advisory firms in Canada. They prepared the report dated January 18, 2023. MNP LLP conducted their investigations between September and December 2022 and submitted the detailed report, which is 193 pages long. In some cases, checks were issued approximately $20 million over time.
My Straight Dog family, it's gone past 1 year. And to this date, Terence Michael Drew has not released this wonderful 193-page forensic audit report. Then comes Mark Brantley, who transmits a message to obviously distract the country from his continuing failures, his unfinished capital projects, my Straight Dog family, non-commencement of the Vance Emery International Airport expansion, and non-delivery of geothermal in Nevis, which has so many legacy issues. And the list will go on and on. I hear you saying the Alexandria Hospital and other projects, my Straight Dog family. But Brantley sounded like an angry, intoxicated, drunken sailor who was trying to get back on board a French man of war anchored in the port of Charlestown when you heard him with this rant, my Straight Dog family.
And I'm sending a clear signal tonight. I was foreign minister of this country for 7 years. I sat in a government for 7 years. I believe that the former leader of St. Kitts and Nevis, the man who headed my government and cabinet, need to sit down and hush him out about CBI. Go sit down and hush him out about citizenship by investment. Talk about other things, but leave that one day alone, because I am telling you now, some information is going to come to light and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pleasant. So I am saying respectfully, go sit down, talk about other things, but leave that one day alone, because too many problems were created in that program because everybody was there, glad-handed and winking and nod. Everybody was drinking champagne and getting Louis Vuitton luggage and expensive watch and shoe. Stop.
I wonder if Premier Brantley, recent visit to North America, wherever he went, if he turned state evidence against his former members of cabinet, because he's sending some serious threats here to the former prime minister about stop talking about things. I wonder if the AG or the special prosecutor is paying attention. Because if Premier Brantley is talking so much things, there might be other things I need to question him about. You know, you need to pull him in, have a conversation. You can't just pull in poor people. You got to pull in them white-collar criminals too. Ask them questions, put things on record. Let's continue listening to Premier Brantley.
What they're doing, the program is important to us. Let us all protect it. Let us all protect it and stop this effort to destroy it, because when you destroy it, what else?
So, some information would come to light. He said, Mark Brantley knowingly bells the cat who was responsible for bringing this information to light. That was not pretty nor pleasant, but it was found to be clearly defamatory.
What is amazing in this regard, you know, this MSR media company or individual, I remember during the COVID Premier Brantley take credit that he bring this movie mogul to Nevis, and they're gonna be having some movies created in the Nevis area, and he was boasting about all of these big moves. Next thing I hear the bounce, the former Prime Minister Timothy Harris has the same MSR guy in St. Kitts. I hear Dwyer trying his words for a couple of weeks now. My only concern here is, if this individual supposed to be suing because of the CBI not getting the true benefits from the CBI, government are continuous. Why is he suing the former Prime Minister Timothy Harris and not the government of St. Kitts Nevis? That is something that does not make sense to me. But I guess in time, all of the chips will fall in the right places, and we, the citizens of St. Kitts Nevis, will get to the bottom of really what is going on. So let's continue listening to Brother Patches as we continue the prosecution of Premier Brantley.
Another bell was put around the neck of this French cat, my Straight Dog family. Another bell was put around the neck of this French cat, white French cat to be exact.
News is going to be coming, which is not going to be good news for some people in this country and for their friends and cohorts in other countries, because the world out there has said, look, hundreds of millions of dollars have been bled out of the pockets of the people of this country because of bad leadership and slackness, and even worse in the CBI program. And Junie and Sam and Patrick and ladies and gentlemen, it is all now coming to a head. The perpetrators will face justice. If they do not face justice here, let them dare jump on a plane. They will face it elsewhere.
So 2 bells were hung around this white French cat, my Straight Dog family. The other bell, or this other bell, sounded chimes of questionable integrity. Very interesting, my Straight Dog family. This other bell sounded chimes of questionable integrity.
It has been a racket, and the country don't say, look, make your money, but do it right. And your passports are bringing people into our country, and some of them are of questionable integrity, and we have to protect our best interests. So, long story short, it looks like we're reaching the point where the cleaning up is going to be made known to everybody.
Indeed, my Straight Dog family. The cleaning up was made known to everybody. The information came out, and everybody looked at and found out the questionable integrity of Philippe Martinez of MSR Media Limited is well known. So everybody, take a look at the MSR Media Limited deal in Nevis, which was negotiated by Mark Brantley under a cloak of darkness, and during the period when the world and our federation was locked down because of the coronavirus-induced pandemic, or COVID-19. Martinez found a friend in Mark Brantley after or when he was forced to leave the Royal Westmoreland Hotel in Barbados. After due diligence checks in Bridgetown revealed that he was a convicted criminal and was deemed persona non grata as an investor. He was not permitted to meet the Prime Minister or any member of her cabinet for that matter. And one phone call, he was on a jet to Nevis. He landed in Nevis, and Mark Brantley promptly put him, Philip Martinez, and his entire team up at the Four Seasons Hotel. My Straight Talk family, Mark Brantley then negotiated. He negotiated to pay US $150,000 per month for 2 years during COVID-19 at the taxpayer's expense. Yes, he did, my Straight Talk family. He did negotiate this deal.
What was our deal with MSR? We said to MSR, after some negotiations, that we will pay up to $150,000 US
per month after being kicked out of Barbados, my Straight Talk family, for 2 years during COVID. And that estimates at approximately $10 million. $10 million, my Straight Talk family. St. Kitts Nevis was in lockdown, and Mark Brantley allowed Philippe Martinez and his group to land in Nevis in late 2020 without the approval of the Chief Medical Officer and the HEOC and the NEOC. When Mark Brantley introduced Philippe Martinez to the cabinet, did he know of his criminal history? And if so, why didn't Mark Brantley inform his colleagues? That was his responsibility. Now, where on earth Mark Brantley got into contact with this company, only heaven knows. And what we know, though, is MSR Media Limited was dead broke. I showed you their balance sheets already. And if you recall, we read them. And we read the notes to the financial statements for the year ended 30th April 2022. And note 1.2 relates to its going concern. And at the balance sheet date, the company had net liabilities of 2,851 sterling, or pounds as we call them. If you ask Dr. Drew, he will quickly tell you that MSR Media Limited came here in the red. In the red, my Straight Talk family. But Dr. Drew came to the rescue and met with Mark Brantley and Philip Martinez. But what support did Drew provide? Because with negative equity of just over £2,000, MSR Media Limited bought the OTI. They painted the entire property and locked the gates, my Straight Talk family. Dr. Drew has also been silent. He's also been silent because MSR Media Limited is the first and only approved benefactor of the public benefit option of the St. Kitts Nevis CBI program, my Straight Talk family. That you can see. The only benefactor of the St. Kitts and Nevis CBI program. And they have advertised as the first approved public benefactor of the St. Kitts and Nevis public benefit option. MSR Media St. Kitts Nevis Limited recognizes the magnitude and responsibility of not only representing the Federation in this regard, but also the importance of properly, expertly, and most efficiently guiding and advising new additional citizenship through this process.
Now, my good people.
To most rightly.
Now, my good people, you guys hearing for yourself what the former ambassador to the United Nations is saying here, whether Ian Patches liable. Keep in mind in 2020, when DJ Morrishaw came to the people and telling you the people that individuals was landing in our federation without going through the due diligence. DJ Morrishaw had to get a COVID test 72 hours before arrival into the federation. DJ Morrishaw had to submit that information along with other credentials to national security. DJ Morrishaw could not board a plane to St. Kitts without an approval letter coming from national security clearing me to enter a plane. When DJ Morrishaw gets to St. Kitts, Nevis, he got to hire a taxi for God knows how much it costs to get to my quarantine site. Had to be locked down for 14 days. These individuals, these ministers of government, however, waive these requirements for their friends and their colleagues. If the team concussion did not mash up, we won't know what we know now, because back then they were saying fake news, ignore the noise, nothing goes up. If that gentleman who came in from Argentina one day after myself and dropped the community spread on our ass, we would never know what was happening. Every one of them is comparable. None of them better than the other. Ian Patches Liebert did this thing as well. He was in quarantine the same time as me. I spoke about this before. I brought in some stuff for Monarch. Monarch had to wait 14 days after he came out of quarantine to get his stuff. Ian Patches Liebert's daughter came to quarantine over at the Jacta the same Saturday evening he got in. And the folks at the front desk told her she could not get anything out of the quarantine. When she leave and call her father, Ian Patches Liebert. Ian Patches Liebert went on like a dirt bike, which a bunch of bad one. Tell her come back to the quarantine. Don't pay no attention to them people at the front desk. She came back to the quarantine and was able to get the suitcase and take it home. If these folks were so concerned about COVID and the requirements and the restrictions, well, how this lady was able to come back to the Jacta and get a suitcase that came in that same day and took it home. They didn't have no respect for law. The same laws that they put in place. That's why my good partner Lindsey Grant get into problem up there the last stop with the police officer. They was only enforcing the laws for us, not for them. There's pictures all over social media with them down and landing, where they landed in Sandy Point or wherever, hugging up and kissing up. Man jumping, man, woman jumping, man, all kind of jumping, all kind of hanky-panky going on. Obama said it was legal, so they think it was legal. You understand? But we're going to continue listening to Brother Ian Patches Liebert prosecuting Premier Brantley. You know? And I keep telling you folks in Nevis, I am of the view that the situation in Nevis is worse than St. Kitts. But the arsonist is still up there, lighting the fires, causing problem, because you the Nevisians, you all decide you are going to stay home. You are not going to vote for nobody because you're all fed up. Well, look where you are. I tell everybody over the years, if you don't go out and make a decision for yourself, somebody will make it for you. And I hope you enjoy what the decision they make. Your vote is the most powerful thing. And you got to determine who you want to run your country. I could speak as much as I want here. I'm only presenting the facts. I am only presenting the information. You could cuss me as much as you want. I'm not going to stop presenting the facts. I'm going to stay in observation mode, and I will continue to bring the information to you. But the reality is that those same individuals now, the Timothy Harris, the Premier Brantley, the Sean Richards, the Ian Patches Liebert, they was there making laws and breaking laws. And hadn't there been a change of government, what we're hearing today, we would have never known. So my good people, pay attention. Let's continue listening.
Do so. MSR Media SKN Limited has aligned with many of the best, most respected, and longest tenured organizations and individuals in the field of additional citizenship, migration, including the law firms and authorized processing agents. And we asked the question though, how is it that MSR Limited under the public benefit option was facilitated and bought a hotel? But isn't a hotel real estate, my Street Dog family? Jacta did quite a lot under the real estate option. Park Hyatt did a lot under the real estate option. Marriott did a lot on the real estate option. And that hotel down there in the number 6 area under the real estate option. So is it strange that MSR Media Limited would purchase the OTI under the public benefit option? Some food for thought, my Street Dog family, but that just came to mind. The big questions we are asking tonight as well is whether Daniel Brantley, the firm of Mark Brantley, is their approved agent. Straight Talk still has not confirmed at this time, but that is being investigated. The bigger question, however, is why? Why is a convicted criminal being allowed to sell our passports? Why? That's a question that needs to be asked. A convicted fraudster is being allowed to sell our passports. So for 2 years, the treasury across the Narrows in Nevis was raped, and that costed the taxpayers almost $10 million. In the meantime, the Nevis debt has ballooned to well over $500 million, my Straight Talk family. This debt does not even include the $20 million owed to the Social Security Board for monies deducted from the wages of public servants in Nevis and not paid with the matching contribution into the Social Security Fund. A criminal offense no one wants to talk about. Here in St. Kitts, the Treasury continues to be raped by the Jew administration. Don't forget the $8 million spent on the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum without a tender. Don't forget the $5.8 million given to Cashley Allers without a request for proposals in accordance with the Procurement and Contract Administration Act. Attorney General Garth Lucien Wilkin told the nation that such is a crime. He told the nation this, my Straight Talk family.
Our Procurement Act requires that there be a competitive bidding process to ensure the government gets value for money, and it makes it a crime to spend money from the Treasury without the procurement process being completed.
A crime. Those are not my words, my Straight Talk family. Those are the words of our Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, Garth Lucien Wilkin, who disappointingly continues to turn his head in the other direction. And Garth, I must admit, is a disappointment to me. I expected better of him. My Straight Dog family, I have not been able to speak with our third Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris. But I read his expedited response to the leaked document from Philippe Martinez of MSR Media Limited. The document is being purported to be a legal notice, therein accusing Dr. Harris and former Attorney General Vincent Byron Jr. of corruption, fraud, tax evasion, and money laundering linked to the Citizenship by Investment Program, the CBI. Martinez apparently denied circulating the letter on social media. But Mark Brantley said we'll get some information. And we got that information 2 days after Mark's pronouncement. We got the information hours after the pronouncement by Dwight Astafan, claiming that investigations were conducted and findings were shared with U.S. authorities. But kudos to Prime Minister Harris, who responded with great alacrity as if he was ready and waiting for this white French scamp. Retract immediately or face the consequences, said Peter Foster on behalf of his client Timothy Sylvester Harris. Dated 18th November 2023, and addressed to Philippe Martinez in the matter of an intended action between Dr. Sylvester Harris and Philippe Martinez. And the letter reads, my Shredder family, dear sir, we act for the Honorable Timothy Sylvester Harris of Tabernacle Village, St. Kitts. On Friday, 17th November, you published a letter addressed to our client under the name Mr. Timothy Harris and others. Your letter contains the following words, which are defamatory of our client in his capacity of former Prime Minister of the Federation and in his personal capacity. 1. The result of this investigation into the finance and discounting schemes in the CBI program that occurred under your administration and management has revealed numerous potential violations of United States laws, including fraud, money laundering, tax evasion, and corruption. 2. On November 15, 2023, Mark Brantley, a member of your government, at the time we are referring to, stated in his radio video broadcast your actions were illegal. 3. You have misrepresented the legal value of the CBI shares to MSR Media Limited and American investors, while establishing a fraudulent network to sell shares of other projects at a fraction of their legal price, especially concerning the drill project. 4. MSR Media has evidence of your fraudulent activities. These words mean, it continues, and were understood to mean that our client is guilty of various fraudulent and illegal activities, including fraud, money laundering, tax evasion, and corruption in the course of his administration and management of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis as Prime Minister. All the allegations made against him are entirely false, and the attack on him is unjustified. He has not engaged in any of the fraudulent or illegal activities alleged. Under the leadership of the CBI program, Under his leadership, the CBI program was highly regarded. The approval of your MSN Media St. Kitts Nevis project was made in compliance with the law and principles of integrity and good governance. Mr. Brantley, your apparent witness himself, has approved the CBI program as a member of the same government. In addition, we are instructed that as Premier of Nevis, Mr. Brantley asks our client to give the Nevis Island administration more of the money being earned from the said CBI program. Your charges amount to a very serious libel to our client and has caused him considerable distress and embarrassment. Your intention to damage our client's reputation is evidenced by the number and nature of persons and institutions stated to have been copied to it. The state and the international media, with the implied invitation for them to republish it widely. We have included them in this letter to inform them that the contents of your publication are false and defamatory and that they should not republish it. In the circumstances, our client requires from you, as a matter of urgency, a full and unequivocal public retraction and apology in terms to be approved by us, a statement in court, and an undertaking not to repeat these allegations. You are also advised that our client is entitled to substantial compensation for the injury to his reputation and feelings, as to which we invite your proposals. Our client will also require payment by you of all the legal costs he has incurred in this matter. We look forward to hearing from you without delay. If we have not received a satisfactory reply by Tuesday the 21st November 2023, our instructions are to issue a claim form. In the meantime, our client reserves all his rights.
Well, my good people, it appears as though that caller that called me early and tell me I have to do some overtime this evening has gotten their wish, because still have a little way to go with my clips. Have to drop 1 or 2 songs. Have to wish you folks a happy Thanksgiving Eve. Have to hail up a few folks online. It's now 7:01 p.m. here in the Bronx, New York area. So I'm pretty sure it's sometime after 8 in St. Kitts Nevis, in the Caribbean at large. So let's continue listening to Brother Ian Patches Liebert prosecution of Premier Brantley. That should be coming to a close shortly. We're going to jump into the commentary for J. Dwyer Astafan before we try to bring it to a close for this evening. So as I continue with Brother Ian Patches Liebert.
Signed by Forsters, copied to William P. Barry, Sandy Persano, Miller Chevalier, Mark Brantley, Garth Wilkin, Paul Singh, and Catherine Koo of CS Global, Miss Ying Jing, CEO of Caribbean Galaxy Real Estate Corporation, Damon Kelsick, attorney at law, Dwyer Astafan, attorney at law, Daisy Randall, attorney at law, Sylvester Anthony of the CIU, Farron Lawrence, Doretta Freights, Lee Beasley, MSR Media Limited, and Terrence A. Crosman, St. Kitts and Nevis National Bank. And my Straight Talk family, a very serious response to the document that was circulated, apparently circulated by this fraudster, Philippe Martinez. Caribbean attorney Peter Foster Casey, King's Counsel of St. Lucia, leads the legal team of Timothy Harris, who has denied engaging in any fraudulent or illegal activities, and reconfirmed the high regard the CBI program received under his leadership. Contrary to what many would have liked us to believe as well, Timothy Harris gave us statistics in 2016, my Straight Dog family. In 2016, Timothy Harris provided to the country these statistics, my Straight Dog family.
As at the 31st of December 2015, there were 10,777 primary passports issued under the citizenship program. In 2005, 6 were issued, 2006, 19, 2007, 75, 2008, 202, 2009, 292, 2010, 664, 2011, 1,092, 2012, 1,758, 2013, 2,044, 2014, 2,329, 2015, 2,296, for a total of 10,777.
And that was 2016, my Straight Dog family. So it is a lie for anyone to say that Harris never provided statistics to this country. He did so in 2016. He did so as well in July 2018 when he provided these statistics to the country.
Last time I had reported that under the program we were advised by the Canadian banknote, who manages our passport, the 10,777 had been issued at the end of December 2015. And we have the revised information from the banknote, which says that up to 2015, really, the figure should have been 12,496. And the total number of CBI passports now issued stands at 16,544.
But my Straight Dog family, those statistics were provided to the country. The only prime minister to ever provide any statistics as it relates to the St. Kitts Nevis citizenship by investment program. But you know, my Straight Dog family, Mark Brantley accuses others of not being bright. Yes, he said this about yours truly, my Straight Dog family.
I was in cabinet shortly, for a short period, with a man called Ian Patches Liver. And what I will say today on record is that nobody, Mr. Bart, has ever accused Ian Patches Liver of being bright. It has never happened. And at his age now, I don't think it will ever happen again.
But you know, my Straight Dog family, you would not believe, he also said the same thing about another Liberd. He said this, my Straight Dog family.
It is not my fault that nobody has ever accused the member from number 2 of being bright. It is not my fault, Mr. Speaker. If she has never been accused of being bright, that is not my problem.
Well, he's the brightest bulb on earth. So we can conclude, my Straight Dog family, that Mark Brantley is functionally dunce. To be easily duped by a fraudster, or he knew about Philippe Martinez. He was either duped or he knew about Philippe Martinez. Gerald Anthony Dwyer Astafan and Mark Anthony Brantley remind me of two men versus themselves, because their own values and memories of their past selves. As a failed minister of government for 13 years, Astefan, and the other a failed premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley, are now colliding with their current selves, my Street Dog family. They are colliding with their current selves. As a caller put it, Mark Brantley drank some kind of soup. This caller had this to say, my Street Dog family.
I'm laughing because I'm here listening to Mark Brantley. I want to know what kind of soup he drinks, if it is momo soup. Because when the former Prime Minister said Mark can't spend money, every minute Mark wants money, he wants. All of a sudden he didn't know that the CBI was where he getting the money from. So he come now because he and the former Prime Minister fall out. He come and talk, let the former Prime Minister hush him out. He got to be really sick.
Yes, he got to be, drink mumu soup according to that caller. But my Straight Talk family, Mark Brantley and Dwight Astefan, more so Mark Brantley, he hatched the plot. They both warned us about news coming out or about CBI information that was to be released. And in fact, was released. It was released 2 days after Mark Brantley made his pronouncement. And 2 hours after Astefan went on radio to gloat about this information. But their poor judgment got the better of them as a CBI plot was uncovered. And in particular, Mark Bells the cat.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yes, so that is it for Brother Patches Larry, but I want to give him some thanks for making my life a little easy tonight. You bells the cat, you bell the premier. You even give my boy Dwyer some bell in the process. But I know Dwyer capable of handling himself, so I don't have a problem with that. But my good people, we're going to get into Dwyer's commentary in a bit. But just before we get into Dwyer's commentary, I just want to say good night to some of you folks online. Sister Joan Matthews, I know it's sometime after midnight there in the UK. So thanks for hanging out with us. I want to big up my boy there, Brother Carbo, over there in Fountain Nevis. I hope that you drop your information in the chat there and keep the folks aware of what's happening with your place there at Carbo's and Nevis. The goat water, you're going to have to step up a bigger pot, or you're going to be doing several more cooking, you know. Carnival is around the corner, Sugar Mass 52. Folks will be coming in Carbo, so just drop your number there and make sure that you have those fish in stock. DJ Morrishaw will be there to join you in the not too distant future. Want to big up my boy there, Brother Thaddeus Deposo. How are you doing? The man Everson Harris. Also want to say good evening to Chantel Brooks. How are you doing? Gigi Williams Skeet. How are you doing? My sister there, Sister Cicely Brown. My baby girl there. Hope you're doing well. My son Jeffroy Jr. visiting from LA. Welcome, son. Good to have you for Thanksgiving. Delicious Nicholas Brown. Welcome as well. Ermin Farrell. I want to say good evening to you. My girl there, Sister Lorette over there at the Cultural Bar. And Nevis, look forward to seeing you in a bit as well. The man Mikey Slack there in Nevis. Sister Moffett Slack. My boy, the King Miko, Brother Asher Brown. I hope you're doing well. Bernadette Tyson. Hope all is well with you. The man there, Ella, there in St. Thomas. Brother Alvan Brown. Hope all is well with you. King, the man Django. How about my engineer there, the man Ike? Want to big up brother Ike for keeping this program alive for the past 3 years and counting. Big ups brother Kent and sister Debbie for all you guys have done and support over the years. Want to big up my technician there, the man Elvin Ellie. Thanks for your continued hard work. We will arrive at the end of the line in a positive way in the not too distant future, my brother. Keep up the good work. Hope the wife is okay. Hope all is well with you guys. Yvonne Jeffers, how are you doing there? Sister Yvonne, Millie, Sandra, the man Jerry. Hope all is well with you guys. My sister there, Sister Jennifer Hutchinson, Sylvia Hutchinson, Clive, Janet. Hope you guys are doing well. Sister Charlene, Daniel, and crew. Also want to big up Sister in Farrell. Again, the Visha Stapleton. Hope all is well with you. Haven't seen you in a bit. Kevin Hanley, good evening. The man Thaddeus Deposfor. I wonder which part of the world my boy Thaddeus is. Whether Jordan is a bit somewhere around the world. Hope all is well with your sister Dorothy Allen, my mascot. I want to wish the Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Joe, a happy birthday. I understand Prime Minister Joe celebrate birthday today, so I want to wish him all the well, all the best. Blessings to you, my brother, and I hope that with what is taking place in the Federation, God give you the guidance and the strength and knowledge to deal with it, you know. Want to big up Sister Hazel Claxton. Good evening, how are you doing there, man? Jean Sider, Naomi Ward, Sister Annette Morton, how are you doing? Ione Mitchum, Ivy Carty, the man Julian Pemberton. Want to touch my dancing commissioner, brother Austin Williams. Hope all is well with you. How about Sister Laura Williams? Hope all is well. Ambassador Queely, how are you doing? How is things there in the Morocco area? Brother Derek Davidson, good evening, sir. Happy pre-Thanksgiving to you. Look forward to catching up with you in the not too distant future. Sister Gwyneth Morrishaw, good evening. How are you doing? Hope all is well. Sister Beverly Morrishaw, hope all is well. My Quiddy in the Tobago area, missionary Deborah Beard. Deborah Wallace, sorry. Roger Wallace. Gloria Beard. Brother Daniel there in the Trinidad area, Sister Chanel, Victor Beard, Melissa Beard. Hope all is well with you guys, Sister Kia. My brother there, Jean Paris. Hope all is well with you. My niece there, Trouble Paris, and cool. Hope all is well with you guys. I also want to big up Sister Tamika there in the Montserrat area. Touch Sister Linda there. How are you doing, Sister Linda? Sister Lynn, hope all is well with you. Tracy, good evening. Tracy Jeffers, hope all is well. Tracy Powell, hope all is well. Sister Ann Farrell Smith, good evening. Hope all is well with you and the crew. I know you guys getting ready for your big cook-up for Thanksgiving. Sister Cora Bennett, good evening. Thanks for your continued support in everything that I have been doing. So, my good people, let's take a quick listen to the J.A. Dwyer Astafan commentary for today. I'm going to drop 1 or 2 tracks and bring it to a close. I am currently 17 minutes in overtime, so I know my boy Ivor Henry, wherever he enjoying himself. Want to big up my brother there, Eustace Hendrickson, over there in the Houston area. Hope all is well. Sister Cheryl Bryan, over there in the Florida area. The Mighty Monarch, the man GQ, the man there, Brother Tango. Hope all is well with you as well. Want to big up my boy there, Brother Ken Phipps. Was nice seeing you earlier today. Thanks for all your assistance. The man Lennox Liebert, good seeing you as well. Hope all is well with you guys. So let's take a quick listen to J.A. Dwyer Astafan.
Greetings. Wouldn't it be great if the government of this country had enough money to ensure a steady and reliable supply of drinkable and other water, clean renewable energy, healthy local food, modern healthcare and education services, a professional and efficient public service, strong physical, social, cultural, and technological infrastructure, sound practices in environmental management and climate resiliency, and all of those other critical areas. Wouldn't it be great if the government had enough money to properly address these areas and build and sustain the platform for a new economy and society? It would be great. The tragedy is not that we don't or did not have that money. The tragedy is we did have that money. Over the years, we've collected billions of dollars through the Citizenship by Investment program. But too much of it has been badly used. And too much of it that could have been collected and should have been collected was not collected. I can't share the exact amounts with you because up to now, up to today, thank goodness there seems to be a move in the right direction by the present administration. But previous administrations seem to have no appetite to share this kind of information with you. Agents of darkness cannot be promoters of transparency, and that is what we had. So the numbers that I offer here can only be estimates. And here I go. I estimate that between 2006 and 2022, the government and SIDF collected close to 8 billion EC dollars in direct revenue from the CBI. That's an average of about $500 million a year. And as I said, it could have collected much more. But that money seemed to have been intended for other things. Of course, some of it went into good and deserving projects, but a lot of it went to pork barrel politics, used, in the opinion of some persons, to keep power in the hands of a few, rather than to build a solid and sustainable foundation and a clear path to prosperity for all. Then, as I suggested, a lot of money that could have been collected was not. For example, a number of local authorized agents were allowed to set up exempt companies, no longer allowed, but they were allowed then, and they provided services to the CBI clients without having to pay tax. If there was an easy $1,000 tax on each successful application, the government over the years could have collected perhaps between 30 and 50 million extra dollars out of this industry. Then all of these failed real estate projects, had they and their developers been properly policed, we would have had finished projects here. These projects could and would have been generating significant economic activity, business and job opportunities for our people, pumping in the process an enormous amount of money into the government treasury and into social security. And don't forget that on some of these projects that are yet to be completed, you couldn't find a petition even if you had 4 eyes to look. More money being bled away from the economy and from the government treasury. But there's more that you lost as a result of these unfinished projects. Firstly, people were selling units at prices well below the minimums set by law. That's illegal. Instead of policing these developers, instead of limiting them to a certain amount of units to be sold based on well worked out bills of quantities for these projects, and monitoring the performance of the developers, successive governments just kept extending the number of passports allocated to these projects, seemingly without a care in the world. And what is even worse is that the government must have known that these units were being sold at prices below the legally set minimums. And the government not only did nothing about it, the government not only did nothing to ensure that the laws of the land were followed, but the government instead said that the escrow numbers, the escrow documents seemed to be in order, and that they, the government, therefore, were not going to get involved in private transactions. Remember, it is the government which is the regulator, the protector of the good name of our CBI industry and our country, the protector and promoter of yourselves, the people of the country. And if the regulator is not going to regulate and protect and ensure that the law set by the same government is not observed, then who will protect us? That throws up a million red flags. Once the government knew, and they did know, then they were at best acquiescent in the face of the breaking of the law. You tell me, which person winning an election in this country swears an oath to break the law? Isn't it the opposite? That the oath is taken to protect and preserve the law and the Constitution? But while all of this slackness, or maybe it was orchestrated, but while all of it was taking place, some people were laughing all the way to the bank. Not you, not your neighbor, not the average man and woman in this country, because the banks were busy repossessing your vehicles and foreclosing on your mortgages and all of these things. Not the trucker or taximan or busman or tradesman or single mother who is struggling for survival, and not the conscientious investor developer under the CBI. No, they weren't laughing all the way to the bank. It was just the lucky ones here and beyond who were making a killing out of this thing. None of them gave, and none of them give a heck about you and about the country. Plunderers and pillagers. This will rank high on the list of atrocities that have been committed against you, the people of this country. And the perpetrators have to be made to account and to pay. All of that has been taken away. All of that money and opportunity has been taken away from the economy, from the government, and from you. And you need to get reparation and justice. But there's more. From 2006 to 2013, one company was engaged as our country's exclusive promotion and marketing agent throughout the whole world for CBI non-real estate projects. Exclusive deals are not something that we should easily engage in. Exclusivity is a dangerous thing. Imagine worldwide exclusivity. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis giving a company a worldwide exclusive to promote and market its CBI. But that's not all. Because while they would have a stranglehold on our country and we can't break the exclusive arrangement, they have similar arrangements with other countries. And this has been going on from 2013. A different company stepped in to that role. And that company, by agreement, gets US $5,000 for each successful application under one option, and over $10,000 for each successful application under another option. Yes, these companies are in business, and they deserve to be fairly paid for their services. And I would never second guess that they work diligently. But when you estimate, and this has to be guesstimate, when you look at the overall picture without having access to the hard data, you can, and you can't be blamed if you do, you can come to a number that in fees and commissions, exclusive agents for promotion and marketing could have collected from the government and people of St. Kitts over the years since 2006, close to $1 billion EC dollars. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with over those years for the government to have spent $100 million paying for those services, and that other 900 million go to building and sustaining the foundation and the path to prosperity for you, the people of the country. When you add all of this money that has been collected and all of that money that should have been collected, you can reach lots of billions of dollars that the people of this country, you, have been deprived of over the last 17 years because of poor leadership, people who have their priorities wrong. And while the present administration led by Dr. Drew has taken some progressive, remedial and brave steps, there is still work to be done, both locally and in the region, where CBI countries continue to undersell and further jeopardize the industry. The developers of Park Hyatt here in St. Kitts had bought land and invested substantially while the Team Unity administration were in office to develop a top resort, the Six Senses, in the La Valley area. But they found that it was too much of a challenge selling units at $400,000 each when other projects and options were being sold at prices way below that. And although they were encouraged to turn a blind eye to that underselling and to request allocations as needed, they took a principled stand and said no. And they went down to Grenada, where the new Six Senses Hotel that should have been in St. Kitts will be opened next month. Our loss. All of those people who could have gotten direct jobs, our farmers, our fishers, our service providers, our social security, deprived of a massive and magnificent opportunity to add to our economic and social development as a result. Attitudes and actions by former decision makers have chased people away and have caused us, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, suffering. How can we allow or continue to allow such people to hold positions of power on our behalf? It's a mystery to me. So in the midst of all of this steps a man named Philippe Martinez, a movie producer with a company named MSR Media. His company invested significant sums of money in St. Kitts and Nevis, bought the Ocean Terrace Inn Hotel, and had a staff whose salaries and wages, I am told, were much higher than the national standard. I'm told they had over 80 workers and were looking, as they did more movies here, to train and embrace local talent in every aspect of the industry and to make meaningful economic and social inputs into the country and its people. Unlike many, MSR put their money where their mouth was and sought a space in the CBI industry to help finance Mr. Martinez's movies and was granted approval. But his price per unit, if my numbers are correct and my information is correct, about $50,000 higher than other options, which he thought was unfair. And on top of that, remember, a number of other options had been sold at illegally low prices. It seems that this made him and his company uncomfortable and wondering how their units could be competitive in such a situation. He started asking questions and doing some investigating. And what was revealed to him in his investigations worried him and his company. So they dug deeper. I'm told that he has eventually come to terms with the present administration, but that he is so troubled by what has come to his attention that he intends to challenge in the courts of the United States. I'm told that he will use subpoenas and other legal tools to get all of the information possible that he can get before the U.S. court. And I'm told that he will be sharing the findings with the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis and the entire OECS will watch this situation with great interest, as it can have serious implications for all of us. It could help redeem the CBI industry in this part of the world, which is what eventually, regardless of this particular situation, we hope will happen. While we try to work at the higher standards recently set here, one of the problems that we face, because they lump us all together, is what is happening in other CBI islands in the OECS. In this race to the bottom, desperately grabbing every buck on the way down, perhaps not appreciating the dire consequences for all. Yesterday, apparently now, Mr. Martinez has been getting some flack and some pushback and the subject of some personal attacks. In relation to that, a lady told me yesterday, she said, Mr. Astafan, people here are accustomed to dealing with pussycats who murmur and mumble and meow, and they thought that the movie man was a pussycat too. But he's showing them that he isn't a pussycat. He's showing them that he's a full-grown tiger. And maybe what we can't do here will be done for us elsewhere as a result of the intervention of himself and his company. And she said, if the movie man aims to and can help to clean up the place, then by all means, as she said, let the tiger roar. I also want to say that it seems that some personal stuff is being thrown at me. Let me say this. I've been in this since the 80s. I got my first death threat in the 1980s for bringing matters to people's attention. I have no sinister motives. I have no enemies. I have no vendetta against any person. I'm not going to go and disrespect anybody. I have no umbilical loyalty to any political party or politician. In my own simple and mortal way, I want the country to be better for us, for our children, and for generations to come. And I will not be intimidated by any efforts to personally attack me or to distract people's attention from the very real and troubling issues which we face in relation to these matters. I'll end by saying that we need a full accounting of all of the money and a full report of all of those CBI activities between 2006 and the present. And it falls to the present administration to ensure that we are fully informed as a population. And if there has been any wrongdoing, then the perpetrators must face justice and personally make reparations to the people of this country. It is not only from Europe and elsewhere that the victims of the diaspora must seek reparation. They must also seek reparation from those who have perpetrated, if any, more recent injustices. Maybe one of these days, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis will thank Philippe Martinez, the movie man, for being a tiger who came to our rescue. We shall see. Let us wish everybody peace and love. Let us also wish everybody information so that we can be better enlightened to assess and analyze these issues that so vitally affect our personal and our national interest. We shall see how these matters proceed. Thank you, and all the very best.
Well, Brother Dwyer Astafan commentary for today was definitely some food for thought. I personally, to be honest with you, would prefer to hear Timothy's side of the story in regards to that situation with MSR Media. And until such time, I reserve my conversation in regards to that. I will not just jump and beat up on the former Prime Minister without hearing his side of the story, because we all know history have taught us that MSR Media was brought to the Federation by Premier Brantley. So for Premier Brantley to now run and throw up his hand and say it wasn't me, it was them, I have an issue with it. I cannot tell my partner Dwyer what who to associate himself with. But I know that Premier Mark Brantley, I am of the view, strongly believe that what is taking place right now with this situation, Premier Brantley has his fingerprint all over it. So until such time as I get the opportunity to speak with the former Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, I know he avoided having a conversation with me throughout his time as Prime Minister because he didn't want to hear me letting them know what they was doing during the COVID era. That was wrong. But that is behind us. When someone gonna come in this regard, to say you're gonna sue an individual over CBI and not the government, for me, that is questionable. Government are continuous. Timothy Harris is no longer the Prime Minister. So this MSR guy and whatever is taking place there, I need to get some more information before I can really get into an opinion on that situation. So, Brother Timothy Harris, the ball is in your court, you know. The invitation is open. You can come and present yourself. Just prepare to answer the questions. Question must be asked. The public needs to know. Just as the Prime Minister is due to come and talk to the people, the AG is due to come and talk to the people. You guys either come and clear your name here, giving you the opportunity now. It's going to come a time where you all going to want to come in and I'm going to tell you all no. So you all better use the opportunity now that you have it to come and let the people know what's going on. Because the time going to come where you all going to really want to come and talk to the people. And I will decide no. So I advise you all to make the best of it now that you have my attention, and let's talk to the people. I want to say good evening to Brother Romelo there. Hope all is well with you wherever you are, and everything is live and lively there with you, Brother Romelo. I want to drop a track here, and this track I wonder if I should drop it for Ivor, for Thaddeus, for my boy Cabo, for my boy Ellie. Well, this track here is from my boy Provoker. And good night, Sister Debasso. Hope all is well with you. How is Anna and the grandbaby doing? This one is called My Waistline Dead. Brother Kent. Live it brown. Oh yeah.
I used to be a champion. They used to call me the stallion. As age goes by, all them names have gone. I can't even stand up. I have to lean up against a wall. I'm praying to God that I don't fall. I have to use a chair or even a stool, because today I can't even move. Me waistline dead, me waistline dead, me waistline dead, me waistline dead. So I decided to use me head.
Oh yeah.
With me tongue and me mouth, and most of all I strong with me neck. I have to use me mouth, but most of all I strong with me neck. Oh yes.
Yeah, man.
They say age is just a number, but it also make you remember that when you're only young but once. Me mind is willing, but me body is telling me no. I cannot do anything at will. In me waistline dead, what else should I do? Stick around and show them that I cripple. Me waistline dead, me waistline dead, me waistline dead, me waistline dead. So I decided to use me head. With me tongue and me mouth, and most of all I strong with me neck. I have to use me mouth, but most of all I are strong with me neck. Oh yes.
Ivor, the King Cabo, Alvin Brown, the man Tango,
everyone who will live in will and must always use their head to carry out their ways of living. You are alive, you are not dead. Even if your waistline is all dead, everything left lies inside your head. You couldn't lie on your floor, remember all is not well. Me waistline dead, me waistline dead, me waistline dead, me waistline dead. So I decided to use me head with me tongue and me mouth, but most of all I strong with me neck. I have to use me mouth, but most of all I strong with me neck. Oh yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, I'm pretty sure that based on what I see there, Brother Thaddeus has a very strong neck. So I wonder if my partner Thaddeus does lift anything on the neck. Neck very broad and thick there, you know. I'm gonna drop this one for my boy, Pastor Ranger, Brother Vanterpool there over there in the UK. Because they say he was a good chef. I think he's still a chef in the UK. And he bad on his saucepan, eh? So I want to big up my boy, Brother Ranger there, over in the UK.
Invite me to her home. She said, Provoker, I am home alone. She take me straight in she kitchen. She said she just finished cooking. She asked me if I want anything to eat. I simply said, oh, some meat. There's some meat right here and some sauce in that pan. You no spoon, no fork and no hand. Put them out in there with your tongue in there. Put your mouth and your tongue in the saucepan. What you say? Put your mouth in there with your tongue in there. Put your mouth and your tongue in the saucepan. Lick it out, drink it out, lap it out, suck it out. Put your mouth and your tongue in the saucepan. You're gonna like it when you do it. Yeah, Noni, lap it out, Noni. Lap it, boys. Do your thing. Lap on me, man. People favorite meat. She said, Provoker, you seem to be strong. I told her, please don't take me wrong. I enjoy eating pork, not lamb. Since I was small, I am eating it. And I'm gonna die doing it. I am not a Rasta man. I will eat if I can. I am not doing anything wrong. Put them out in there with your tongue in there. Put your mouth and your tongue in the saucepan. What you say? Put your mouth in there with your tongue in there. Put your mouth and your tongue in the saucepan. Lick it out, drink it out, lap it out, suck it out. Put your mouth and your tongue in the saucepan. You're gonna like it when you do it. Yes, we're gonna lick something for Carnival. Lick it, drink it, shit in the meat. Trying to take me mouth out the saucepan. She tapped me hard on me shoulder. Said, Provoker, what is wrong? I said, honey, I'm going to leave. Yes, really eat me meat. But to leave him back sauce in me precious saucepan. Don't leave no sauce in this pan. Put your mouth in there, with your tongue in there. Put your mouth and your tongue in the saucepan. What you say? Put your mouth in there, with your tongue in there. Put your mouth and your tongue in the saucepan. And lick it out, drink it out, lap it out, suck it out. Put your mouth and your tongue in the saucepan. You're gonna like it when you do it. Lick it, drink it, lap it, suck it.
Saucepan supposed to get some downy and some scrubbing and some Clorox and thing. I wonder what I just them talking about, eh? Anyway, I want to thank my boy, brother Carlisle Powell, for joining me earlier this evening. Very good conversation, open, and that's what we need in our federation. We need to have open conversation. Don't take things personal, and let's talk the things them like they're supposed to. Good evening, Livy Brown. Hope all is well. So for tonight, I mean, you guys know me, I punched the former Prime Minister Timothy Harris when I needed to. He needed to be out of government. He just was not good for the people. What he was doing was downright wrong. But as a citizen of the Federation, I'm going to stand with him until I see that this gentleman who is claiming to be suing him have grounds to do so. Because the CBI is not a personal item, that even though Premier Brantley and all of them had it like their personal cash, petty cash, piggy bank, it's not theirs. It's for the people of St. Kitts Nevis. So if you're going to be suing about the CBI, you should be suing the government, not an individual. Yes, you will name the individual in the lawsuit because he was the leader at the time. But you have the foreign minister. Is it that you didn't name the foreign minister because the foreign minister is turning state evidence for you? I do not know. But Brother Timothy, is when you're down, you know who your friends them are, And as I've said to you previous time, I don't hate you as an individual. I just hate what you are doing to the Federation. Just like I don't hate Premier Brantley. I just hate what he's doing to Nevis, right? So for you tonight, Brother Timothy Harris, I'm going to drop a track for you because I think it's fitting that we, the citizens of St. Kitts Nevis, in spite of the damage you have done to us, that we rally around you against the vicious circle. The leader of the team, it appears to be Premier Brantley, while he pulling himself out. So I'm going to go down to Sandy Point. They say SP with the best be, and I'm going to reach out to Starshield and drop a track on your behalf. So Timo, this one for you. Pay attention to the vicious circle. And I hope Dr. Joe is listening because he too could be in the situation when Premier Brantley don't get what he wants. Stand by for this one. Good evening, Sister Noreen. How are you doing? Hope all is well with you.
What is the reason for you to fear the iniquities of wicked men nowadays? When you are aware that all that is in their minds is to upraise strife and confusion, but the same does fall on their children down to the third and fourth generation. Corruption, I say, it could work, but it just can't pay. For most people who are living sky high today got rich in dishonest ways, and living with day from day to day, I can say that if they could hold the key to destruction and upturn this place to confusion, they would strive to do all they can do this message I bring to you, especially for them wicked people, and it's not lies. So listen to my cry. If a man spit up to the sky, it must fall straight back in the eye. Some men would even use their position to seduce young women of this nation. Say isn't it wrong? Men coming out of school trying to get employment, and to be successful they must be present for interviews at their residence at 8 p.m. instant or somewhere they never went. I call it a bed and back situation, breeding corruption over the land. What they'll seize from their wicked plan when they understand that's the one who holds the key to destruction. Someday he'll turn their life to confusion. They continue to seduce my people. But when he see they're getting too far, he would take away the power before they die. So they'll know it's not lie, that when they spit up to the sky, it must fall straight back in their eye. Broadcasting and rumors going around, information about wolves in sheep clothing, keeping us down. Just like Jim Jones, the minister over in Guyana, using God's name to make a cover for the land he want to take over. He didn't mind to kill a multitude at one time, after making them sign him as beneficiary of their social security. But not he didn't live to spread his decree, for he do not hold the key to destruction to stop them from shooting him down, or he'd openly let it be me. But the one above has the plan to make all them decisions, and if I lie, oh, he wouldn't have to die when he spit up to the sky and it fall straight back in the eye. Intrude on no specific man, for when I sing my song I just sing it from true inspiration. Whatever I do does surely affect me too, for whatever deed that I do, it becomes a vicious circle. Vanity never makes happiness for you, so you should never spoil your future days for vanity which does not pay. For happiness can only be when your mind is free, and you know who holds the key to destruction can make this a happy nation if we strive to do what we should do. That's why this message I bring to you would help us to struggle through, let it reach you high. So even if I die here, I speak a blessing up to the sky, let it fall straight back in your eye.
Yes, that's the sounds of the man King Star Shield, and this brings us down to the closing hour of the program. Look forward to be back here next Wednesday, 6 p.m. St. Kitts Nevis time, 5 p.m. New York time. I'm going to drop the unofficial anthem, as you know, to close off the evening. Again, I want to thank Brother Carlisle Powell for joining me, and I look forward to him, also Brother Daly and man Tulu, to join me at some point in time, because we have a lot to talk about, my good people. But as I've said to you folks across the Nevis, Brother Jetty Taylor, hope all is well. I just want you guys to know that you got to be more than just talking. You need some political action to change things there and the ground in Nevis. I want to say good evening to Sister Carmen of Carmen Catering there. As I have said previously, check her out there over there in Shea Lane, right across from the ferry terminal there in Bastille, downtown Bastille. She have lunches there starting at 12 midday every day. And I'm pretty sure she'll be at some place during the Sugar Mash. Once she gave me her location, I'll definitely let you know where you can find her. But on Sunday, she's also there in Boyd's at the bus stop, right across from the Ogara shop, doing her stuff. I want to also touch my boy there, Brother Powell there, Island Purified Water in Newton Ground, St. Kitts. I want to thank them for their continued support. They keep me hydrated when I'm there in the Federation. I want to thank him and his wife and the crew there for taking care of DJ Morrishaw. I want to big up my partner there, Ellis. I forget to send him the link earlier this evening, so I will have to send him the link later on. But I want to big up Brother Ellis as well. I want to touch my cousin there, Gloria Hutchinson. Don't forget to check her there at Smart Fit, located in the old Simaco building on Central Street, right across from Skelec. Nice clothing, cheap clothing. She have her sale on Friday. So check out Gloria, tell her DJ Morrishaw sent you. There's also a store there on Keon Street, right off 4th Street across from the gas station. Check out Gloria. Check out my boy Michael Clark there at the Jamrock restaurant there in Frigate Bay. Lunch is served from I think it's Tuesday to Sunday, closed on Monday. Gotta really check his stuff. You can check him also on YouTube, get his updates. Want to big up my boy Marshall's as well, just up the road there, Marshall Restaurant. Lovely dinners when you guys visit the Federation. Don't forget to check them out. My boys at the Spratnet as well. Want to big up Brother World. The man Ralston Wrigley should be celebrating his 40th anniversary in the business. Look forward to seeing Brother World and the Small Axe Band do the thing for Sugar Mass. I also want to big up my boy, the Geezer, right there at the entrance of the ferry terminal. Geezer always have his little barbecue pigtail, barbecue pork, barbecue chicken, name it. Anything you could think about, my boy Geezer take care of that. Also want to big up my girl Susie there, up all night. Sister Jasmine there in the ferry terminal as well, the man Tango. Everything good. Hope all is well with you guys. So I'm gonna drop the unofficial anthem of the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, and that will bring us to a close. This one is by the late great the King Arrow, music by Elimat and the Jazz Brass, and this one is called Arise. And I want to say to you, good people of St. Kitts Nevis and your online viewership, thanks for your continued support. Thanks for keeping the flames burning. Thanks for keeping my company on a Wednesday evening as we bring you the information up to date and to the best of our ability. Following this live, you can catch this program on YouTube. Oh yeah!
Country dying and never lend a helping hand. Would you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency? Reunification nation, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. Can your conscience be clear? Indulging corruption or misusing public office, being accused of unemployment and crimes, or disrupting a citizen's peace. Oh, my country in this harmony, separated politically. Hatred for a brother cannot love each other. No, I say no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
Yeah, the sounds of the late great King Arrow. This country is yours, all yours, still yours. I want to say good evening to Olivia David. I also want to say happy Thanksgiving to your folks that will be celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow. When you're enjoying your goodies and you're filling up your tummies, remember the unfortunate one around the world, even right here in the Boogie Down Bronx, or right there in our sister islands of St. Kitts and Nevis. You know, I had a different program planned for this evening. I'll deal with that next Wednesday. I don't want to send any wrong message pre-Thanksgiving. So I will save that conversation for next Wednesday. We'll get in depth because the attitude of our people in St. Kitts Nevis is one of our main concerns and main issues. We have to really learn how to deal with individuals and respect each other as human beings and stop treating each other like animals and politicians who run out amok and treat us just the same. So until such time as I see you next week, be good. Do the good that you can do. And I look forward to continue this conversation next week. Again, I want to thank my brother there, Brother Carlisle Powell, for joining me this evening. And I want to remind you that tomorrow evening, it's Carlisle Powell, the man Tulu, and Kelvin Daly will be having their Tell Me program and 2020 Vision Radio there in Nevis, broadcast via Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and other social media platforms. So log on at 8 p.m. and listen to the guys as they continue to bring the message to you. Also on Saturday, you have Kelvin Daly, the man Tulu, and Henry Daniel coming to you on Target, starting at 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. there. So you remember to check them out. Also, don't forget, you have the Grounding School there and Freedom Radio on Friday from 1:30 to 3. I want to big up Sister Lioness Charles. Hope all is well with you, Sister Celine Tobias and co. I look forward to seeing you guys while I'm in town, and I look forward heading back down to the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis for Sugar Mass 52. I'm looking forward to those Calypso shows. So in the meantime and between time, stay tuned